I think I caught it again. I don't know. We'll see. Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 13 slash bracket number 2 of the Quarantine Diaries. We have recurring guests all over the place, but we'll start with my co-host, Connor Hazleton. Connor, how are you?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm a little worried, though, because there's a storm going on right now, and I'm afraid my power might go out, but knock on wood, hopefully it doesn't happen.
Great. We have everybody's favorite guest and most recurring guest, Andy Gianta, and maybe the top. How are you?
Awesome. Feeling good. Thanks for having me, as always. This is a highlight of my quarantine when I get invited on here.
Also in studio, we have the semi-co-host of Wednesdays with Will Kier. Will, how are you?
Doing well. I honestly, it's kind of a dark day going on right now, but just seeing you guys all on, seeing all the Pittsburgh jerseys, I'm back in a good mood, so I'm ready to go.
And last but certainly not least, the reoccurring guest of one of my favorite pods, the Christmas pod, Thomas Marshall. Thomas, how you doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having me. Let's get after it, huh?
Let's get after it.
So brackets, probably just skipping right through the segments unless anybody has something real quick. If not, then let's kick it over to Connor and get right into it because these are doozies.
All right, folks. So this bracket was made by our very own Will Kier, and it is the 2020 cartoon characters we grew up with bracket. Is that correct? Would you say that's okay?
Yeah, so I'll put a couple things out there just so people aren't, the fans aren't just freaking out early. So these are cartoon characters from TV shows. They're not they could also be in movies, but they're known for being in a TV show. So we can add, bonus points if they were in movies. And this was like pre-puberty stage. So like no South Park characters, no Family Guy characters. Like
good,
this
clean
is what
fun.
Good, clean fun when we were,
rated G.
Yeah, rated G. That the characters that we fell in love with as we were growing up. So I consider this a childhood animated character, and they're all animated, so they're all cartoon characters.
Can't confirm.
Yeah, so because the one I was thinking about was Power Rangers, but I don't think they were technically animated. Right? They were like legitimate.
Who's everyone's favorite Power Ranger? I was Billy. He was my favorite.
He was the Red Ranger, wasn't he?
Red's the best. I don't know.
The red one was Jason.
He was like the leader, wasn't he? Yeah.
I dressed up as the blue one for Halloween one year.
Same.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
All right, let's just dive into it now. It's enough Power Rangers talk.
Yeah, but
we're gonna start in this region, and
do you know the regions?
We'll name them as we go.
Okay.
We're going to go back to the TV draft episode, and I got a lot of hate for my Bugs Bunny pick. Well, you motherfuckers, he's a 1 seed in this goddamn tournament, so I am so fucking justified. And we're going Bugs, the 1 seed, versus, I'll be honest, I don't know who this is, Rudy to Booty, a 16 seed.
From the Chalk Zone on Nickelodeon.
Bugs wins.
Bugs wins.
And also just for the bracket in general, I tried to give as many shows love as possible. Like, again, this kind of goes back to your guys' bracket pod last week where, like, if you wanted to be biased, like, I could have put 10 SpongeBob characters, 10 Hey Arnold characters in here. I did my best to limit it to, like, maybe 3 or 4 in the best shows. And, like, Looney Tunes might be the strongest representation just because they've been around for, like, 100 years. But, yeah, so Rudy to Booty is the solo Chalk Zone.
I love Chalk Zone, though. Shout out that show.
All right, now I remember Rudy to Booty, and that's all coming back to me now. Okay, the 8-9 matchup, a funnest matchup, I would say. We have the 8 seed Tweety Bird, just a classic character. Tweety Bird's been in all of our lives, versus the 9 seed Johnny Bravo.
Oh,
wow.
I think Andy wants to start.
Yeah, I mean, this one's pretty easy for me. I'm going to go Johnny Bravo. Tweety Bird is a fine character. I think she's a little... Is it a girl? I don't even know.
It's a guy.
Is it a she? It's a he.
Yeah.
I think he's a little soft. I don't know if he has what it takes to step on the court and pull off... Well, I guess it wouldn't be an upset, but Yeah, I'm going Johnny Bravo. He's smooth. He's good looking. He's confident. That's the kind of guy you want leading your team.
So I'm voting Johnny Bravo too. Johnny Bravo,
Wow.
if you go back and watch it like now, it's fucking hilarious. A lot of that shit like went way over my head as a kid, but he's just so fucking funny. Like with all of his pickup lines to girls, they're downright nasty sometimes. But huge fan of his. Johnny Bravo for me as well.
Yeah, the one thing I will say about Johnny Bravo is like literally that whole show is behind him just trying to pick up chicks and being goofy as hell. So he was introducing us at a young age how to kind of be a player. I think Tweety Bird was funny. Who was the arch nemesis? Sylvester, right?
Sylvester.
Yeah.
Suffer
So
and succotash.
Tweety was like really funny and all, but I think Johnny, especially, I mean, he had his own show, so.
Yeah.
I'll probably give Johnny the nod here.
And just like that, he's moving on.
Oh, well, can I put in just a hot take for Tweety Bird? I want to give him a shout out because the fact that I'm going to call her a she. I think she was a she. The
That's
fact
fine.
that she could escape from the cat's grips every single episode, those two were together. I mean, you got to tip the cap a little bit to Tweety Bird here.
That's a great point. She was elusive.
Yep.
So an 8-9 matchup. I mean, Johnny Bravo, he's coming in here, big dick swinging. But Tweety Bird, she put up a good fight, but evidently Bravo's moving on.
All right, we are on to the 5-12 matchup. We have the 5 seed, Rocco Rama. Is that Rocco's Modern Life you wanted to go with?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know his last name was Rama versus Helga G. Pataki. I'll say this right now. I'm going Helga. I liked Helga. Like, she was a bad bitch, didn't take shit. She liked Arnold, and I don't think Arnold should have given her the time of day. It was so obvious that she loved him, and he was just too stupid to realize it. He was always going after fucking that redhead Delilah. Fuck her, man.
Yeah.
She was kind of a bitch. I didn't think she was all that either. I really didn't. She's a goody two-shoes. No. I want Helga. I want her in my foxhole.
Wow. Ugh. Well, the thing about Helga, I mean, she just obsessed with Hey Arnold. Obsessed. I mean, she's got to move on.
The
Hey Arnold,
shrine in the closet.
I mean, you can't have a shrine of a kid who has a football as a head. Like, you just got to move on. I get it. Arnold was smooth. He was athletic. He had that flannel around his waist. He set the trend years before it happened.
It's true.
But Rocco at 5 coming in here, he had the show. He was the show. And he's going to move on easily first round for me.
Let's go with Kyle. We have a 1-1 vote right now.
So this is a little embarrassing, and I knew this was going to come up at some point in the show. I was banned from watching 2 cartoons in particular growing up. My parents were just like, no way. They were Ren and Stimpy, which, very understandable. It's a disgusting show.
Yeah.
I was also banned.
And
Ren and
2,
Stimpy was not. It's not represented in this bracket.
Okay. And I think they got Ren and Stimpy and Rocco's Modern Life confused, so I was also banned from Rocco. So I saw that. I am going to say Helga just because I can't vote for Rocco because I've never seen him. I do appreciate her devotion to Hey Arnold, even if it goes across the line, but she's a fantastic character and one of the main driving forces in that show in general. So I'm going Helga Pataki. Her dad's also fucking hilarious. Love him.
Big Bob.
Yeah.
Big Bob's beaver.
Wasn't he just like they have like 1 million trophies in their living room, right?
They're a family of winners.
Big Bob's beepers.
Kyle, that's an integrity pick right there. A lot of respect for that.
I had to.
Appreciate that. Andy, let's go with you now. What do you say?
This one's tough. I'm actually going to go Rocco.
Wow.
Fun fact, my first dog's name was Rocco.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. But, no, Rocco's Modern Life was one of my favorite shows. And the thing is, too, he was, I believe he was a wallaby.
Mm-hmm.
I liked his
Australian. He had an Australian accent, and that's kind of his player comp would be Matthew Dellavedova. I'll tell you what, if I'm going into March Madness and I got 5 Dellavedovas on the floor, I don't see them losing in the first couple of rounds. He's a grinder. Yeah. He was, and Rocco was like a more mature, like, you know, he had a job. He was just living his life. I think he'd come on the court. He would command the team. He'd play discipline, and I think he's going to pull off the win here.
I like it.
Love it.
Up to you, Kier.
All right, so going into this, when I heard the matchup, I was pretty confident in taking Rocco here. Like, the show's Rocco's Modern Life is, I mean, if you watch the show, it's funny because, like, his neighbors are, like, the dumbest people ever. He has to deal with so much, like, just, like, weird shit, and he always just, like, takes a deep breath and makes the most of it, which I really respect. But you, Kyle, and Connor make great points for Helga. So in a classic 5-12 matchup, I think we should defer to the Chew Can here.
Yes.
In a classic 5-12.
Is Rocco the 5 seed? I can't remember.
Yes,
Rocco is
yeah.
back
Okay.
to 5 seed.
All
I'll
right.
call it in the air, Andy.
All right.
Okay.
So
Hey,
whichever one
so
I call
Andy-
is for Rocco.
okay.
Yeah. Call for
All right.
Rocco.
3, 2, 1.
Tails.
It is heads.
Wow, Helga.
The
Let's
12
go,
seed.
folks. Wow.
Our first upset.
That.
She's gritty. She's a bully.
Yeah.
She,
She is. That's
She's
the
physical.
family athleticism poking
yeah,
through
I'm not
there.
shocked. I knew
Exposing
this was-
an overconfident 5 seed there.
So we are now on to the 4-13 matchup, and both these characters I like. One I like significantly more than the other. The 13 seed. Fun fact: this is Chris Ward's favorite cartoon character, at least one of them, Carl Weezer, versus the 4 seed, who I think might be a little underseeded, TJ Detweiler.
Oh my god! Yeah.
What a matchup here, boys.
I think it's TJ in a landslide. I love Carl, but this is
Agreed.
TJ's an all timer.
TJ, love TJ.
This might be the 4-13 where people try to get cute and take the 13, and then the 4 seed
Yeah.
wins by 40, and they just
Yeah,
The final 4, just
yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, like this is like the contrarian bracket pick, and then Detweiler comes in, and it's a 25-point game at halftime.
Yeah.
start off 20-0. They just hit like 5 threes on their first 5 possessions. All right, we're moving on now.
But Skeeter. I do want to send Skeeter some love though. He's blue guy from Doug, correct? Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
thought you said Carl Weezer.
I
Oh,
did.
I'm sorry, Carl Weezer,
Oh,
not
okay.
Skeeter. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But yeah, Carl Weezer was a good character too. He
He's
was,
hilarious.
I'm partial to Sheen though as a secondary Jimmy Neutron
Yes.
character. I
yeah,
love-
Sheen was funny.
Moving on.
Landslide?
Landslide, yeah. We just
Yeah.
some of the ones you can just move on quick and easy. 6-11 matchup. Again, I texted Kier this. I had an issue with just this seeding and this seeding alone. My guy, Gerald Johansson, the 6 seed versus the 11 seed, Nigel Thornberry. Hello, I'm Nigel Thornberry.
Wow. Powerhouse.
What you got, Thomas?
So read that 11 seed again, because it doesn't even matter with Nigel in here.
Well,
Nigel Thornberry versus the 6 seed Gerald, the black guy from Hey Arnold.
Oh, fuck. Gerald actually play.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, actually, I didn't watch this matchup on one-on-one and like Street Volume 2. I actually have Gerald, that afro, people still wear that Halloween costume today. I mean,
I'm going Gerald.
you can't go against that afro. No one can ever replicate it. Nigel's nose is by far the biggest nose in cartoon history, and he shows up every episode, ready to explore. You know, he loves his job, loves his family, but you know, Gerald just gets it done. So I'm going 6 CJ.
I have a question. I don't know if I'm remembering the show incorrectly. I remember Nigel being a way better character, but wasn't the main character Eliza Thornberry?
yeah, but she
Yes.
sucked. She wasn't.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, she sucked. Her sister is hot.
What
I
was-
forget her name.
What was the
Debbie.
name that they found and like adopted in their family?
Oh, the crazy little guy.
Donnie.
Yeah, Donnie.
A monkey's name that they had.
Who? The monkey?
Yeah.
Darwin.
Why we bring you on these shows, Andy.
Mhm.
This is my favorite matchup of this region of the ones I've read so far, and it's either a fart I smell or an upset. We have the 3 seed, Tommy Pickles, versus the 14th seed, the aforementioned Skeeter Valentine.
Oh wow, yeah.
Man.
That is tough.
I could smell him coming in this region.
I'm going Skeeter, and I'll tell you why. I know we're strictly focusing on TV. I didn't like in the Rugrats movie when Tommy's brother was born, Dill Pickle.
Brilliant.
Bitch. Like, I'm no longer like the one everyone looks to. Like, he acted like a child. Granted, he is a child, but come on, man.
He's like,
Skeeter
He acted like a baby. He was a baby.
like a little bitch.
So immature.
Skeeter, I think Skeeter's a better friend than Tommy is. I do.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
You're right, though. I mean, Tommy Pickles comes in. He knows he's a shit. He hugs all the milk. And Chucky's over here grinding. And Skeeter has a blue face. I mean, how can you go against Skeeter here at 14? I mean, he gives Tommy Pickles a fight.
Thank you.
I'll hop in and vote for Tommy Picks here. I mean, Tommy Picks led that group through everything. He had Angelica, literally that entire show. She was just trying to get them in trouble, whispering the wrong things in his ear. But he still had the wisdom and mischievousness to get through. And I don't know. I think he was just a great leader. Skeeter. Hey, much respect to Skeeter here, but I mean, Tommy Picks was that. I mean, he was literally a natural born leader in that group for years. So I'm gonna have to vote for Tommy Pickles.
And his dad too didn't help him at all. He had purple hair. He was high as shit, probably half the episode. And Tommy's was like, "I'm gonna take the controls here, and I'm gonna be the man of the house." And it was just Tommy.
So Thomas, who was your vote for?
You know, I tried to make a case for Skeeter, but. You know,
okay.
For some reason, they gave him a blue face. He had like a teal skin color for some reason in this show.
He always on a skateboard too, right?
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah,
if your name's Skeeter, you better be on a skateboard at all times.
In the one episode, because you know Doug's Quail Man, Skeeter was like involved in
That's part.
That's
right.
There. Kyle, where do you go?
Well, first of all, the Quailman episodes were my absolute favorite part of Doug. I loved all of those. But I do think you got to give the nod to Tommy Pickles here. Definitely shout out Skeeter, but Tommy was just like one of the defining leaders of our generation. Period. Like Will said, like he is. Like he just led a group of ragtag kids through every adventure, every time, and they came out on the other side unscathed. That's a leader. I'm Tommy Pickles.
Well, Andy, you won't get a chance to say your piece on this one, but you're going to lead off this next one.
All right. I was Tommy Pickles for the record.
For the record, he was Tommy Pickles. 7-10 matchup. The 7th seed. I'm guessing this is Leonardo from the Ninja Turtles.
Yes. Yep.
I like it a lot. Versus the 10 seed, Kim Possible.
Fuck.
A smoke, if you will.
Smoke. And
Red
you know
Stevens.
I was going to say Red Stevens was the voice.
Oh, wow.
Oh, and do you know who the voice of her, the guy was?
Shia LaBeouf.
Oh, no way.
From fucking
The blonde-haired.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure.
It's your theory, Andy, that all Disney characters in like their late 90s and early 2000s just had the same. Just
round and round.
But who you got?
I didn't like Kim Possible that much. That fucking Rufus, the naked mole rat, used to freak me out. I did like the song though. Do you remember the song? It's
Kim Possible.
naked mole rat.
Call me if you want to meet me. If you want to
No, the
meet
song
me.
about Rufus.
I know, I'm fucking care.
Naked Bull Rat song.
But I'm gonna go Leonardo. I was a huge Ninja Turtles guy.
Who's your favorite?
The movies. Actually, it was Leonardo. I named my pet turtle, Leonardo.
I was a Donatello guy.
That's a great name.
What?
Donatello.
That's
Was
fair.
he the orange one?
I believe Donatello was the orange one.
No, Raphael was a douche because he was like a real hard ass with the red bandana.
Yeah, he thought he was the GOAT, but he might have been the most important character, though. He just was always...
Which one was purple?
They were all named after like painters and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michelangelo was the fourth. I can't actually remember which ones were which now.
Purple was my favorite.
Donatello was the purple one. That's I just searched that.
Which was Leonardo the red one?
Red one.
I'll just let you know that there's two of them represented on this bracket. It's Leonardo and Raphael are represented.
Okay.
Connor, would you say he's the blue one, Leonardo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And I think Michelangelo's the red.
No, Raphael's the red.
Oh, what the fuck?
Raphael's like the leader. Leonardo was the one who kind of like sat back a little bit, but like always kind of came to the rescue from my memory.
And in my opinion, he had the best choice of weapons. 2 samurai swords. Like, you're not fucking with him.
No.
Correct. Those were fucking sick.
Well, how does Kim Possible stop that?
No, I'm going Leonardo.
I would like to cast my vote for Kim Possible just because women have been severely underrepresented on this podcast, and we're trying to make it to the mainstream. So one vote for Kim Possible because I did really like that show.
I agree because, dude, it's a very catchy. Like Connor literally still remembers the song. She had a catchy ass song. She was sleek. She was good looking. Dude, she had all the tools there.
Smoke too.
You know what? I'm voting Kim Possible.
Wow, Thomas, how do you vote?
All right, we got 2 Kim Possible votes here. I think it comes down to Connor now. I'm Leonardo. Andy's Leonardo.
I'm Leonardo.
Okay. No chew can here, but
hey, put up a fight. So this is a pro chicks podcast. So.
Official.
Bro, like it's all about matchups. Like, we're fair.
Absolutely.
Michelangelo was my favorite, aka Mikey, as he went with, because he orange mask was fun. He had the nunchucks. That was his weapon.
Nunchucks.
Sorry. And last matchup of this region, we have the 15 seed Clifford, the big red dog, woof woof, versus the 2 seed Donald Duck.
I don't think there needs to be much discussion here. I mean, Clifford was cute and all, but I mean, Donald Duck, if you like, I mean, we obviously remember him from Looney Tunes, and then he was in DuckTales, or I'm sorry, Disney, not
yes.
Disney, and then DuckTales, and then he's been in movie, like he is the most representative. He went to the Navy. I mean, serving our country, my God, like he's just like Clifford's cute and all, but I mean, this seems like a slam dunk here.
I think Jeselnik has a stand-up bit from his early days about like what happens when Clifford dies and like how inconvenient that's going to be for the whole town. Just having giant clean up.
All right, we're moving on to the next region. I'll be honest, I don't know the 16 seed Nigel Uno. Can anyone? Does anyone
he
remember?
Was from Codename Kid Next Door. It was on Cartoon Network. He was like the leader. That show needed to be represented because I
fair enough. Unfortunately he's going up against Scooby Dooby Doo, the 1 seed.
Oh God, yeah, we can
move on there.
But hey, if Codename Kids Next Door was a legitimate show, dude. If you know what I'm talking about, yeah.
I love that show.
I remember. I don't think I ever watched it though.
They had like this sick ass treehouse where they could like portal into like back in time and shit, and like do these crazy missions. It was pretty cool.
All right, next matchup. It's a kind of a fun 8-9 matchup. We have Angelica Pickles, bitch, versus the 9 seed Timmy Turner.
Ooh.
What you got, Thomas? You feel strongly about this. Let's go. What do you got?
Okay, so I'm going Timmy Turner here, hardcore, like because his show was one of the best shows growing up for me. Middle school.
Strong agree.
The Fairly Odd Parents were fantastic. They both, even each other out. And then the teacher, whenever he'd go, Fairly Odd Parents! You get fired up, and your dad's just like in the car, like, turn that fucking shit off, help me outside. Like, this is the show you went home and watch, and your parents are like, what are you fucking watching right now? But Timmy's always there for you. He had that little red hat on. He didn't get too crazy with it. And then the, I think the chick, his babysitter, was always like
Vicky.
She was always
Did he ever get with her? Do we know that?
Probably.
No.
Yeah.
He had to when he got older for sure.
One of the last episodes, yeah, they had him hook up.
Would pay to see it, though. Would pay to see it. We all going Timmy here.
Yeah.
I have a question. One, shout out Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. But is Cosmo on this podcast anywhere?
Cosmo and Wanda are both in the bracket.
Okay,
Yes.
he's one of my favorite characters on anything, not spoil.
Yes.
I'd
And
like
he might
to
have-
say,
Yeah.
from Fairly Odd Parents, shout out to the Crimson Chin, great
Yeah.
superhero, as well as his black friend AJ. I liked AJ.
That's a deep dive. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Well, wait. Does anyone remember his the other friend he had who lived in the trailer home and had braces? It was Chester.
Chester.
Cleft the Boy Chin Wonder, aka Timmy Turner. Such a funny show.
Dude, it was a great show. All right. We're on to a 5-12 matchup where there could maybe be an upset depending on the audience. It's actually a pretty tough 5-12 matchup. We have the 5 seed, Squidward. Could he be a little underseeded? Maybe. But you know, as a 5 seed, it's okay. Versus the 12 seed. His full name, I just pulled it up, is Norbert Foster Beaver, aka Nor Beaver from
Angry Beaver.
Yes.
Angry Beavers.
Damn, dude. It's actually going to be a tough matchup for the Beeve.
I think Andy wants to start.
Oh man. I love
This is a really hard one.
Do you want to pass?
No. I think I'm gonna go Squidward. Like I love the Angry Beavers a lot, but Squidward is he's a low key, very funny character in that show.
Yeah.
Just how miserable he is, and he's very there's times where he's just very witty and snarky, and I think it just works so well.
Kyle, you were stunned by this matchup for a while.
I thought it was a lot tough. So, for the record, Dag is my favorite of the Angry
The one. Dag's
Orb's the blonde one, correct?
Yeah.
Norb is the smart one who's actually his brother is
Fucking
absurd.
Dag it. But this is a special shout out to Squidward. He is absolutely one of my favorite characters in adulthood at this point. I identify with him so much, living with my idiot roommate over the years. No offense, Al, still love you. But just I identify as Squidward and he's SpongeBob, and I just have to put up with his optimism, and I feel that struggle a lot. One of my favorite episodes, when Squidward finally moves to a different neighborhood that's super fancy. It's his dream. And he discovers canned bread and freaks out and has the happiest moment.
But he moves back because everyone's just like him.
Yep.
It's called Tentacle Estates or something.
My favorite episode with Squidward is the band one where he finally gets his big moment, and at the end he jumps and they freeze him in the air all happy. That's special. I like that. Sometimes guys just need a win. So Squidward's moving on.
Only if they had Boomerang back then. That would have been epic.
Here, I'll be honest, I'm not sure who these next characters are. The 4 seed, just Jerry. Is that from Tom?
Tom and Jerry. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And the 13 seed,
And he's from Avatar: The Last Airbender. He is the Last Airbender.
I'm going Jerry. Because I didn't watch Avatar: The Last Airbender.
So I didn't really watch those types of shows like Dragon Ball Z, Avatar. Avatar I think was on Cartoon Network, I believe. I actually did watch that show a little bit. He had the fucking arrow in his forehead. I think when I first hit puberty, I tried to shave my pubes like that in honor of him. But no, I mean Tom and Jerry was a classic for me. My cousins growing up, we love that, and just Jerry's sarcasm and just his tricks that he could use on Tom. He's one of my favorite, being biased, one of my favorite characters ever. So this is an easy one. For me,
I like that. Easy for everybody.
I'm actually going to put in a an argument here for Avatar.
I like it. Let's hear it.
Yep.
So if you were one of the kids who watched this show, you loved it. And
The best.
not a lot of kids watched it because, the premise was pretty fucking weird. And the kid had a blue arrow. He rode a giant dragon, and they made a movie after it. Like, the movie sucked, but the actual cartoon was fantastic. For a 4-13 matchup, Jerry takes it. But the Avatar, it was a great show. It really was.
Okay, I like that. Giving respect when respect is due, or credit when credit is due. My bad.
Yep.
6-11 matchup. I like this matchup. We have the 11 seed Dexter. I'm assuming from Dexter's Laboratory.
Oh, yeah.
Get out of my laboratory. Versus Fred Flintstone. Yabba Dabba Doo.
Oh, God.
Here, kick it off.
This one's tough for me. I mean, the Flintstones was a little bit before our time. I mean, I definitely watched that. I always grouped the Flintstones and the Jetsons kind of together. They seemed like they were a little bit before our time, but they always still played them on Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
So the Flintstones were funny, but I mean, if you on an intelligence level, Fred was damn near the bottom of the IQ scale, and Dexter was polar opposite. So yeah, it is. So I mean, if they were both watching this pod, I don't think Fred would understand what we were even doing here. And I'm gonna cast my vote with the underdog here, Dexter, because neither of them have really any physical attributes. Fred is the man of the family, but I think like the one thing that they can battle on is IQ, and Dexter is like beats him 5 times over. So I'm gonna go Dexter here.
My counterpoint to that is Dexter's sister always figured out how to get into his lab, and
That's
she was
a good point.
dipshit. She was
Yeah.
a dipshit.
He was
So
almost
dumb as Fred.
I'm going Fred because I didn't really like Dexter. I liked the show, but Dexter always kind of annoyed me. I always thought he was just an uptight little pussy.
little egotistical, yeah.
So that's just I like Fred. I'm Flintstones guy. I'm more of a Barney guy personally, but here I'm going Fred.
Yeah.
Andy, you're up.
Yeah, I liked both shows a lot. I'm gonna go Fred too. I think Kier makes a good point with the IQ, and
Yes.
Dexter could probably outsmart him and draw up some good plays. But Fred, well, you said no physical attributes. The guy's a fucking caveman or whatever. Like he's out there
Fair.
wrestling
Very fair.
dinosaurs.
Well, for their cars, he has to like run. What?
True.
He
it's-
runs
Start it.
barefoot. He's fucking.
All right.
Like,
You got me. You got me. I like it.
he's got those Hobbit feet. But no, yeah, I'm gonna go Fred. I'm a big Flintstones guy.
Thomas, your pick.
I'm going Fred here as well. His wife
Moving on.
was kind
Wilma.
of a little bad ting ting with the like the tiger skin dress on all the time.
Oh,
Never,
yeah.
but I still dug it. And just going to work every day with his feet in a car, like, dude, that just takes a lot of balls, takes a lot of strength, and going to provide for your family. Fred in a landslide here. Dexter's a clown.
Kyle, since you didn't get a pick, you start off this next matchup. It's a 3-14 matchup. Who is Sammy?
It's Squid from Rocket Power.
Oh yeah.
That is criminally underseeded. Fuck, man. But this is a good matchup versus the 3 seed, Shaggy. Fuck.
Wow.
The Squid versus Shaggy. I'm actually stunned and need to be convinced one way or the other. Kyle, you start.
Okay, so this one's actually kind of easy for me, but not in the way that you think it is. Like, I don't like Shaggy that much at all. I think he gives stoners a complete bad mentality that set them back for 30 years at this point, just because Shaggy's an idiot who eats dog food. Fuck Shaggy. Give me Squid from Rocket Power. He's one of the best characters in the show. Like, he comes in as the new kid. They're just like, hey, do you want to like just fuck around with us? And he just like learns all the extreme sports they play. They just throw him in net and he becomes a good goalie.
Yeah, he's really fucking good at hockey.
Yep.
Yeah.
We talked about the last podcast where he stuns a team of Jeremy Roenick, Martin Brodeur, and whoever else.
He shuts them out.
So I'm going Squid for Rocket Power.
Thomas, I think you want to say something.
I do. I mean, I know Kyle had great points here about Squid. And, Nothing bad about Squid, great goalie, but Shaggy was just an iconic character. He had the catchphrase, Zoink Scoob! You have treats in the snack aisle still for Scooby-Doo, and Shaggy's a big part of that. The dog couldn't talk. He couldn't say a fucking thing, but Shaggy was always there for him. He stuck up with him, and usually he was the one who broke the case. Somehow, some way, his dumb self stumbled into the actual conclusion of finding the bad guy. So he might seem like an idiot, but he knew what he was doing. So I'm going Shaggy here.
To concede 1.2, none of the other members of the Mystery Machine or whatever they drove around in really gave a fuck about Scooby. Like, that was Shaggy's dog through and through. So just getting that out there.
Yeah. Kier, who you got? It is 1-1 right now.
I mean, Shaggy is, from a loyalty standpoint, one of the most important characters of our childhood. His relationship with Scooby was unparalleled. I don't know. Kyle made a pretty amazing point there, though. So Squid is actually the fourth highest ranked guy from that show in this bracket. And that's why he's kind of ranked down there. He played in a really tough conference this year, so his conference record was a little low. So his win-loss record, but his strength of schedule and his BPI is high for his seed. I don't know. I mean, Shaggy's he really is iconic. That show, like, they needed that character in the show that met, like, on Scooby's intelligence level, essentially, and was, like, his best friend. But you know what? Kyle's point was just so strong. I'm going to go with Squid here.
Andy, you are up. It's 2-1 for the Squid.
Man, I'm very torn on this one.
Do you want me to make my point then?
Yeah, you go ahead.
So here's the thing. I definitely like Kyle's points, and I do like how Squid, they toughened him up because he came in as a soft little coward. He really was, but they made him to the goalie that he was. Like, he was good, but they bullied him into being in their group and their goalie. However, whenever they go surfing, he still uses a boogie board. Kind of fucking lame. And also, I really, to the points made about Shaggy, I really like the relationship between him and Scooby. It's very genuine and authentic. They eat food together. They get scared by the bad guys and goes together. I love that shit. He is an iconic character. I lean Shaggy. Like, that is my pick.
Yeah, I think you've convinced me. I'm going to go Shaggy as well.
Yes.
The loyalty and
what a game that was.
Kyle, I got to give that to you, though. You made a great point for Squid there. I mean, that was props to Squid.
Yep.
He definitely covered there.
That was one of the best games I've ever seen in any of these bracket pods.
Yeah. Andy needed to be convinced at the end.
He did.
Me and Connor talked about this before. Of like, there was multiple shows we talked about, like the nerds of the show. Like, I think Chucky Finster was one. Squid. Who was the other one, Connor? Do you remember?
Carl Weezer.
I remember the conversation. I forget the one we were talking about, though.
But either way, like, I rank Squid as the best one. Like, because I do like.
Yes.
He was a fucking brick wall goalie, and I kind of liked how he he knew he was a nerd, and he didn't really. He wanted people to like him, but he stayed true to himself in the show.
He fit in with the most athletic kids in that entire area, like, and learned to do shit so he could hang out with them, but then brought them, like, reason and intelligence. I mean, he's a great character.
Yeah.
All right.
I want to give him credit.
I'm going to just go through the two. We have two matchups left in this region. Auto Rocket, the 2 seed, versus Invader Zim. We're not talking about it.
No. Time out. Not an Invader Zim shout out, but the secondary character in Invader Zim, Gurr, the little robot. So cute, hilarious, underrated secondary character if you ever watch the show. That's it. But Auto clearly wins.
Yeah,
and I think this shouldn't be. I don't know. Maybe it's kind of close, depending on where you stand. We have the 7 seed, an iconic character, Goofy. versus everyone's favorite teacher, Miss Frizzle, the 10 seed.
Ooh, nice.
What do you think, Andy? Oh, no, Thomas wants it. Thomas wants it. Thomas wants it.
Okay, so the fact that Goofy's a 7 seed here and Donald Duck was a 4 seed, I think Goofy is one of the biggest attractions in Disney World. And I would swap the seeds, but here in this matchup, Goofy, Miss Frizzle, love them both. Goofy takes it by a landslide. He's got hats, he's got the cartoons, and he's got the look. He's got the kid. His kid was a great athlete. He was a stud.
Good hockey player.
Yeah, he could do everything. He could skate. He could
skateboarder.
Yeah, skateboarder.
So
I'm good.
He's got good seed, and I'm moving on with Goofy here, landslide.
Going Goofy as well.
I'm going Goofy.
Shout out Miss Frizzle though. I mean, that show is iconic in like fourth and fifth grade. Like, a substitute teacher needs something to keep you entertained. They're throwing on the Magic School Bus, and Miss Frizzle is gonna drive that thing right. So
the first redhead.
We're on the next region now. The next region. We're not going to go through this matchup. It's Pinky and the Brain, or the Brain from Pinky and the Brain, the 16 seed versus SpongeBob. We all know.
Yeah, let's move on.
SpongeBob.
So is the Brain and what was the other ridiculous show? So Pinky and the Brain and the other show, Kyle, you mentioned earlier.
Sim?
No, the one that you
Ren
said
and Stimpy.
Ren and Stimpy were like, they were like two shows that were just so out of control. Like Pinky and the Brain was like the most disturbing show ever. But this is more, since it was a 16 seed, I didn't want to put in like a legitimate, again, another like character who went 9-9 in the conference, but their strength of schedule weakened them. I just want to represent a show here.
Yeah. Side note, I've never watched a Ren and Stimpy episode. Like, what is it about?
Dude, it's literally the dumbest.
It's just like, yeah, it's stupid and like really gross. They always just, I don't know. I used to watch it, but
it's like not even English.
It's like Beavis and Butthead if you had just like two animals just beat each other up. You know?
That's a
Clear.
Okay, then. We're moving on to the 8-9 matchup. The 8 seed, Kyle's guy, Cosmo. It's not an easy 9 matchup he's going up against. Tigger from Winnie the Pooh.
Oh my god!
Winnie the Pooh.
I love Tigger. This makes it actually really tough.
Was that a show though? Was Winnie the Pooh a show?
It
was. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't remember that.
Oh, hey, what Cosmo we got here? Where's he from?
Fairly Odd Parents, the green-haired one.
Yeah, he's the male odd parent.
Man.
I think we should just go right to the coin flip, just decide.
Wow.
I think we should just make this a coin flip.
That's why I want to go last, is so I can make it go to a coin flip anyway.
I have a take though. I'll start this off a little bit though.
I do need to be convinced.
I'm gonna go Cosmo. I mean, Tigger was really fun and obviously a huge part of childhood. And yeah, I mean I remember obviously the movies, but I remember the show pretty well as well. I don't know. I feel like Cosmo's character, like without him, that show is essentially nothing. I think you could remove Tigger from the Winnie the Pooh series and that show still survives really well. I think just like Cosmo's personality to contrast Wanda's, like he's always like, he doesn't have bad intent. He's just kind of an airhead, but he's like the voice of reason to Timmy to like not just sit at home and have no friends and be a piece of shit. Like, I think Cosmo wins this for me just because he has way more of a personality than Tigger. Tigger is empty-minded, and he's fun and he's very generous, but so is Cosmo. He just doesn't translate it the same way. I think he's just more fun, and he wins this one.
Go to Thomas.
I'm going Tigger hard here. You know, Kira.
A hard ER for Thomas.
Take on Tigger. So you can get rid of Winnie the Pooh out of this whole.
Oh my god!
Get rid of him. What's he do? He just eats honey. I mean, the
Winner
kid.
of the Disney character podcast.
I mean, he won the Disney character bracket, so that trophy's in his trophy case.
Yeah.
Okay, that's sick. He can keep that trophy because Tigger is the guy who brings in the audience. They want to see this kid's athleticism. His vertical on his tail bounces are unbelievable. Kid would be a combine stud, and he has the energy to keep the show rolling. Winnie is just sitting there, dipping his fingers in the honey, and we're just like, all right, typical episode. Winnie's over here eating honey, but Tigger's out here bouncing around. He's socializing. He's just a great character, all in all. Great color, great looking animal. And Cosmo, no disrespect to Cosmo, but, Tigger's just one of my goats, and that's where I stand on Tigger.
Andy?
These are really hard.
These matchups are really fucking tough. Like, Kier made an incredible bracket. Like,
I don't fully agree with Q because I think if you took Tigger out of Winnie the Pooh, it would be missing something. I think he is like the high energy guy. Like the rest of them are kind of like Eeyore is just like fucking moping around, wants to kill himself. Mr. Owl's like, yeah, is he an owl? Yeah, right. The other one, Piglet's a little fucking
Piglet and
nerd. I like Roo. Roo's the shit, but
yeah.
Man, Cosmo is like you
funny.
nailed it with Cosmo. He's hilarious, and he does like he's just an airhead. He kind of has. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go Tigger though. Winnie the Pooh was a big part of my childhood. I think it's more of he has that legend status, I think that's the experience you want when you're going to the tournament instead of these freshmen coming in. I don't know. I'm gonna go Tigger.
So it's 2-1 right now with me and Kyle left.
Man, I don't. So these are two. I looked over the bracket. These are two of my top 5 characters in this whole bracket. So I was dreading this match.
Wow.
Like, Tigger really is that iconic. Like, he's so fucking funny. I'm definitely passing my vote, but Andy, I feel like you're the one who shares this quote with me. Like, somebody, I swear it's you, but somebody goes to Cosmo in the show, and he's like, yeah, 2 rights don't make a left, and Cosmo's, yeah, but 3 rights make a left. And it is one of the deepest jokes I've ever heard, because if you make 3 rights, you end up making a left, and it's always stuck with me. I fucking love Cosmo.
Wow, that's good.
Go ahead, Connor. You can vote.
Sometimes you just have to go with the icon. I'm going Tigger. He's moving on.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
I love Tigger.
I think it's very fair. Yeah.
He really has the icon. I have 1 coffee mug, and it's just Tigger from Disney. I have a Tigger shirt. I have Tigger so many items. Like, whenever I go to Disney, I come back with something Tigger. So that was impossible for me to decide, but makes sense to go with the icon.
When it comes down to it, he's a tiger that jumps around on his tail. That's pretty cool.
Pretty awesome.
Very cool.
A 5-12 match.
I have a Tigger, like a banana hammock, so like his tail is where his dick goes. You can bounce it around.
Do push-ups.
Balance
Anyway,
yourself on it.
The 5-12 matchup, we have the 12 seed Sandy Cheeks from Texas. Howdy, y'all. Versus the 5 seed. I feel like this could be one of your guys, Andy, or maybe I'm overstepping my boundaries. The 5 seed, Garfield.
Oh. Garfield is my fucking spirit animal, dude. The guy just sits around, he eats lasagna. Like, he's the laziest motherfucker ever. I love everything about him. And I'll be honest, like, I don't know. I get kind of sick of Sandy sometimes. I feel like she's just always like, get like nagging about something, and she's always like this self-righteous, like, SpongeBob, you gonna do that? Fuck off. Give me Garfield.
Yes.
This is an easy one for me. It's Garfield. Yeah. I can't make a good counter argument for Sandy.
That was a great speech, Andy. A great speech.
Good intro.
What's the episode though, real fast, of SpongeBob? Like, isn't there one where they like can't breathe inside of her?
Yeah, that's
like
the best one. Well, a top 5 SpongeBob episode. Whenever Sandy's in hibernation, they're trapped in her death.
Yeah.
Oh, she loses her mind.
Who you calling Pinhead? Love that line. Makes me laugh every single time.
That is.
Wait, no, those are different.
Those are
episodes,
two
though.
different.
They are different episodes. I love the
These are-
hibernation episode though.
Yeah, those are both good.
That was just like a low-key showing of women on their period. Like if we're kids watching that, like just get ready because this is what happened. That's what it was. So Danny cheers. I'm all out. I'll feel
Pro Woman Pod though.
he stumps.
So I think this might be the matchup of the bracket thus far. We have the 13 seed, Daffy Duck. I don't know where you guys stand on Looney Tunes. I'm a big Looney Tunes guy. I love Daffy Duck. Thinks he's a little underseeded here. Versus the 4 seed, Mr. Doug Funny.
Oh, I know Thomas has a. Yes.
All right, what you got, Thomas? Let's hear it. Let's hear it. You're feeling this. Let's go.
Okay, so Daffy Duck, like you said, Con, huge fan of the Looney Tunes, and the show that he put on in Space Jam was iconic.
Iconic.
He didn't get an Oscar for that.
You're allowed to get added for that. Yeah.
I mean, it's just the fact that he literally possibly won the game for those guys because he was playing great defense. He put on the pseudo armor. He said it's gut check time. It was right in the Charles Barkley. Gets a massive turnover, and he is just, the comedic relief in that movie. He goes into Michael Jordan's house. He has to deal with the bulldog, deals with it, not so great, but he puts on a show, and he's Bugs Bunny's sidekick. He's the Robin to Bugs Bunny's Batman. So I'm going Daffy Duck here in a 13-4 upset.
It's gut check time is so funny. And doesn't he also paint that one guy's ass red so the ball comes in?
Mm-hmm. He's wearing like the French artist hat, I think. And he's like holding like a paint easel.
I'll just say my piece now. I'm also going Daffy. I'm a Daffy Duck guy. And I love Doug. But like Thomas said, comic relief, I'm going Daffy. That's 2-0 Daffy right now.
I'm just gonna cut you off there. I'm going Daffy as well.
Wow.
I love the show.
Moving
I
on.
have a square.
So I love Daffy. The reason for Doug being a high seeding, one, he had his own fucking show. I mean, that's important. Yeah. So that and
Quail Man.
Yes.
If you know about Quail Man.
But he had his own show, and then he moved to a new school, uncomfortable, and creates this group of friends, and he's just like the most mellow dude in the world. Like you have to be his friend just because he's accepting of everyone. He's literally friends with a blue dude, and he dates the Biggest Smoke at his school, or it falls in love with her. He definitely gets with her at the end. What the hell was her name?
Patty Mayonnaise.
Patty Mayonnaise. But yeah, Daffy Duck was misseeded because there were a lot of Looney Tunes in here, and he just got, again, that's a tough conference. Lost a couple games at home. Just looks bad on the resume, but overall still made it to the bracket.
For the record, Daffy over Donald Duck by 10 million miles.
Oh, yeah.
I think you're selling Daffy short with just the 10 million miles.
Yeah.
Wait, real quick. I also think Doug, 90% of the show just gets cucked by Roger Klotz.
What a great bully Roger Klotz is. An all-time bully.
If he would just show a little bit of spine and fucking stand up to Roger, this might be a different matchup, but I just don't think he has it in him.
True.
Daffy bullied Doug around in the paint in this matchup. It's almost kind of embarrassing for Doug. So we're moving on to the 6-11 matchup. Now, is this Velma Flintstone?
No, this is Velma from Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo.
Well, she has my vote because the 6 seed Chucky Finster's a little pussy, and I hate Chucky, so I'm going Velma.
Is Velma the 6 here?
No, Velma's the 11.
Yes, Chucky Finster.
And
no, it's Wilma from Flintstones, not Velma.
Wilma. I'm sorry.
I think it is Velma, isn't it?
It is Velma. I was thinking of Wilma from Flintstone. It's Velma. I'm going
Which
Velma.
one is this? Is
It's
Scooby-Doo or
Velma.
Flintstones?
Scooby-Doo.
Scooby-Doo's
I-
Velma.
I hate Chucky Finster. I'll never pick him. I'm going Velma. 1-0 Velma. Who wants it?
And I'm going to go right on you. Velma, I think Velma honestly might be the sneakiest 11 seed in this bracket because Velma is the voice of reason behind everything. I mean, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are fucking clueless half the time. I mean, Scooby steps up, but Velma is the one who's solving all the mysteries. She invents the Scooby snack from what I remember, right? So she gets Scooby on track with the Scooby snacks. I think she's the brains behind every mystery solving mission. I think it's honestly, I probably should have flipped these seeds. I think Velma just destroys Chucky here.
We're on agreement.
Yeah, I think like Scooby and Shaggy are just over there getting stoned, looking for food. Fred and Daphne are blowing each other in the back of the van. Like Velma's the only one with like her eye on the prize, and she's the one that kind of holds it together and is actually trying to solve the mysteries.
Yeah,
Velma though. She's got some looks to her. Like I don't know. She's got like that naughty schoolgirl vibe.
exactly. I was gonna say, out of 1 out of 10, she's an 11 here. She got the sweater, she's got the skirt, she's got the long socks, and she's got the glasses. You know, if you get in there, you study with her a little bit. It might be go time. So I'm going Velma. And it's a tough matchup for Chucky here. I do like Chucky. I like the glasses. He rocks the rectangle frames, but the kid's just a square, and he's going down.
Square.
Daphne and Fred are blowing each other.
Plus, like, I'm pretty sure Chucky is older than Tommy and Phil. Well.
He's the oldest of all of
And
them.
he's the biggest pussy.
Yeah.
The biggest.
He's hanging out a grade younger than him.
Yeah.
So this is a 3-14 matchup. I'll be honest, I don't feel strongly about either of these characters, so I will let everyone else decide. The 3 seed. I'm guessing he is from Dragon Ball Z Goku.
Yes.
Hadouken! Versus the 14 seed. My bad. Courage
That's
the Cowardly
Street
Dog.
Fighter.
I feel strongly about neither. Kyle, go.
I feel strongly both ways. Goku is awesome. I'm voting him through. And fuck Courage the Cowardly Dog. That show freaked me the hell out as a kid. It was so fucking weird. It was just the creepiest show of all time. I want no part of Courage the Cowardly Dog.
That swayed me. That's two for Goku.
I think this is a Goku landslide.
Yeah. Dude, that show honestly was like the creepiest shit ever. You can't even make sense of it. It's just like didn't like the chicken aliens come down and like I don't
It's just
know.
sucking his dog because his owners were incompetent. They were 2 old fucks. The old man was on the porch rocking in the rocking chair, and the old lady was in the kitchen cooking. And Courage got the blunt of it. He was just taking all the shit from the ghosts and the monsters and shit. So,
Yeah.
Lord. I felt bad for him, but Goku all the way.
too.
He was tough. I mean, I'll give Courage credit. They called him cowardly, but man, he endured a lot.
He has some courage.
All right. 7-10 matchup. We have, the aforementioned Raphael from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That is the red one, versus Tito from Rocket Power.
Oh.
I'm going Tito because Raphael is a hard ass. And he has that cool Hawaiian vibe going with him.
Sure.
But I'm also fine if Raphael wins.
Yeah, this is one that you just put on and you just do something else, like while you're watching the game.
Yep.
I have Tito here because he was always in the kitchen and he was always giving out wisdom to these guys. You know, he was always chill as fuck. He had on the Hawaiian shirt. He was very zen. And these guys would come in, you know, after skating, ripping, and they'd be like, Tito, we want a fish sandwich and just talk to us. And he always had something good to say. Even though Raphael, he can slice them up and dice them, loves his pizza. I'm going Tito here in a 10-7 upset.
Kyle, go.
I think Tito is underrated as an icon in my lifetime because he was my first exposure to like the Islander Hawaiian vibe and the whole personality, like Samoans too, you can lump them in there. Like he was my first exposure to that, so like I thought that's how all Hawaiians were. And then every Hawaiian that I met after that confirmed what I thought because of Tito. So 100%, Tito's an underrated icon for Hawaiians everywhere. So Tito for
You
sure.
sure it wasn't Johnny Tsunami, dude?
Wow.
I didn't even put together that he was Hawaiian. Like I knew he was Hawaiian, but like just the fact that he was big, you know what I mean? Just like Islanders being huge too.
A Samoan. You strike me as a Tito guy, Andy.
I love Tito. Yeah, this one's tough.
He's already
I do
moved on.
agree- Oh, okay, never mind. Tito won.
Yeah. Now, 215 matchup, a Nickelodeon matchup, some would say. We have the 15 seed Cat Dog, Lonely Little Cat Dog, versus the 2 seed Hey Arnold. Hey Arnold!
Wow.
It's Hey Arnold.
Yeah, Cat Dog. I just couldn't see them higher. I couldn't. One, you can't. They're two different characters in one character, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know why I watched that show as much as I did.
I
But,
like
it was
I
the
watched
dumbest
it.
show, but I watched it so much. Like I don't understand it.
It had a primetime slot like in Nickelodeon. So like whenever you came from school, you watched whatever the best show was at the time. Then Cat Dog was on right after.
I couldn't remember like which one was like fun, like the cat or the dog. I don't know. Like
Dog was dumb. Cat was smart and mean.
they went 30.
Dog got a purple nose. I liked that.
They went 30-1 in the Sun Belt. Like they just blew out their competition, and then they show up to the tournament and get fucking massacred. Like
they're like, yeah. That's accurate.
We're not talking about the 116 matchup. It's Fillmore versus Mickey Mouse, so we're moving on. 8-9 matchup. This is a matchup. We have the 8 seed, Wanda from Fairly Odd Parents, versus the 9 seed, Plankton.
Wow.
I'll take it.
This one hurts Kyle. Dude.
Who wants it? Who wants
Easy for me.
Oh wow.
I think it's easy for me.
Lead it off. Lead it off, Thomas. You're at the batter's box right now.
So I'll make it short and sweet. Plankton, little guy, big heart. Dude had the shittiest diner maybe in the sea, but he still grinded every day, showed up to work, always tried to hack the system and get the Krabby Patty recipe. Wanda's great as she is, great character. But Plankton here takes it from me.
Andy?
I'm with Thomas.
I
think it's
concur.
Plankton.
Yeah. Wanda's not even on the same level as Cosmo. Plankton is one of the best bad guys in anything. Like his plans to like steal the Krabby formula are a driving force behind the show for like at least 20 episodes.
Mhm.
And one of the best episodes of all time too is when SpongeBob and Plankton are like pounding around together, and Plankton's trying to teach him to be assertive, and they're just going around the beach, and like SpongeBob just keeps like going against his advice, trying to be a bully. One of the most fun episodes of all time. So Plankton and a landslide.
Wasn't that the fun song?
Yeah, that's the fun song episode.
Friends who
One of
do
the
stuff
funnest
together.
episodes.
You is free. Yeah, we all know it. We're moving on to 5-12. Now, the 12 seed, is this George from what?
This is George Jetson.
Meet George Jetson. His boy Elroy. In the 5 seed, Arthur the Aardvark, who, by the way, is a nerd, so I'm going George Jetson.
Arthur because of the meme. Where he's
Oh, great point.
I was gonna say,
knew I
he
already
is
cast
famous
my
for a
vote.
lot of memes.
Arthur, I mean, his sister DW is the biggest pain in the ass, and he
She could
fends
get
her.
it.
He literally,
She could get it.
he resists her, and then 2, not only does he resist her from a temptation standpoint, but he also blocks out all of her shenanigans. He has a great group of friends. He has that bunny, right? What the fuck
What's
is
his name? I liked him a lot. Baxter.
OJ.
Baxter.
Baxter. I don't know. That was just such a fun show when we were super young. I think there might have been a computer game or something.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. He had a fun. Oh, also, who did make this bracket? Because I can't remember if it the show might have been on PBS. One of my favorite computer games of all time. Just honorable nominee Franklin the Turtle, dude.
I love Franklin.
I know.
Love
I don't even know
Hey,
if like he had a show.
Franklin.
He might have had like 2 episodes and they canceled the show, but the computer game was fucking awesome. But going back to Arthur, I'm gonna go with Arthur here. I see the guys based on if you have your own show, you're important, and
it's a fair.
And I'm gonna give Arthur. I know George Jetson was a funny character. Again, very much Fred Flintstone-esque, where he's the man of the family, but kind of goofy a little bit. But Arthur was he's just a great friend, dude. He had that nagging little sister, and his parents were always on him, but he kept his friends first, much like a lot of us, and just prioritized having fun over all the bullshit. So I'm pretty strong here on Arthur.
Yeah, I'm going Arthur too.
Arthur's moving on. He also had a fire intro song to his show too.
Yes, that matters.
It does.
Thomas is starting this one now, and I'm wafting an upset.
Wow.
Wafting.
The 4-13 matchup. We have the 4 seed Tom from Tom and Jerry, the cat Meow, versus Vincent LaSalle, the 13 seed, and I know where I'm leaning, but Thomas is up.
Okay, I'm going Tom here. He was just an iconic figure through the 60s, 70s, and I grew up watching him as a kid. In the 2000s, so the guy was just grinding. For
Great
probably
name, too, right?
5 or 6 generations. I don't know when the show started, but I have no idea who Vincent LaSalle is. No idea.
He's the black dude in Recess.
Okay,
He's
I'm going
TJ's
Tom.
right-hand man.
I'm going Tom here in a landslide. The cat doesn't miss, and Tom here for me.
I'm a sucker for the black sidekick friend who's athletic. I'm going Vince LaSalle. I just am. Him, Gerald, they're so fucking cool. I'm going Vince LaSalle.
Over Tom the cat. Okay.
I am, yeah. Now, if Tom was a dog, we'd be singing a different tune, but I love the black sidekick. I'm not a racist. Kyle, let's hear what you have to say.
I think this one's actually very easy for me. This is I was team SpongeBob when I was younger, and then I've kind of switched to team Squidward now that I'm older. I was team Jerry when I was younger. I'm team Tom through and through. He's just trying to do his job. He's a great cat, super loyal. He just wants to make his owners happy by getting this damn mouse out of the house.
And he can't even do it.
He runs into the most brutal, cunning mouse of all time. Now, I understand that he can't even do it, but at the same time, Tom's just gone out there to try to do his job. I fucking feel that. Tom in a landslide.
Andy?
Yeah, I think Vince is. You mentioned Vince and Gerald. I'd argue that Vince is like a watered down version of Gerald.
That's a very fair point.
His hair is literally watered down. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's not even half as cool as Gerald, and I think
it's a great point.
I think the problem with Tom, and I think it's what's going to stop him from making a real big run in this tournament, is that he doesn't ever catch Jerry. But goddamn, you got to tip your cap to his resiliency and his persistence. He doesn't give up. The kid's got no quit.
Tom's moving on.
Yeah, I'm with Tom there.
You guys are all eating stuff, making me hungry.
I was so hungry.
Yeah.
What'd you have, Tom? Chinese food.
Yeah, I had some Thai food, yeah.
Oh.
I just bought some pizza bagels 2 hours ago that I'm going to throw
Wow.
Yeah.
I just stuffed the whole breadstick in my mouth.
Yes.
This is a 6-11 matchup. Jimmy Neutron, the 6 seed, versus the 11 seed Minnie Mouse. I'll say right now, I'm picking Minnie because I don't think we've had a girl advance, and I don't want to be on the wrong side of history here.
I tried.
Minnie for me.
That's 2 for Minnie.
Oh, man, I don't know if it could go this easy, though. I mean, again, Jimmy Neutron own show. They do some cool shit in that show. I watched that show a lot. I really did. I mean, he was kind of a bitch, and his friends helped him. I'm gonna go Jimmy here. I mean, Minnie Mouse is obviously an icon, but what did Minnie really do other than just keep Mickey happy? And we don't even know what they did. I'm gonna go Jimmy here. I can't let him fall that easy.
Oh, come on.
So it's 2-1 in favor of Minnie Mouse. Who wants it, Kyle or Andy?
Andy.
I'll take it. Yeah, I'm gonna go Jimmy here. I think I was thinking about, we talked about Dexter's Laboratory. Jimmy Neutron is what Dexter could have been, but he never reached his potential. Jimmy takes his genius and fucking rolls with it. He starts building fucking spaceships and a robot dog. I think his name was Goddard.
He's a good friend too.
He is. He's loyal and like
way cooler lab in my opinion. Way cooler lab than Dexter's.
Jimmy like really maximized his potential of what could what a boy genius can do. Minnie, I know she's an icon, she's a legend, but like I don't know, she doesn't really bring much to the table for me. It's nothing personal.
Thomas, your hand is raised.
So Minnie Mouse for me is like the old Bill Russell thing. We forget about the tape. Like it's so old and so long ago. But if you put on the tape now, like she just goes to town. She has statues, she has garden ornaments, she has everything for her. Like she just owned the show. And Mickey, I mean, it was just a power couple, the best power couple to start a franchise, and she's 11 seed. Disrespect, my opinion.
Kyle, it is up to you. Do you want to go with the coin toss, or do you have your pick?
I have my pick. I'll save the coin toss for closer matchups, and we've pushed so many characters through on just the iconic brand. I'm not going to do that here because I think Connor's vote was half-assed and patronizing towards women. He didn't believe it, and I'm going to push through the cool. Jimmy Neutron just is a better character from our childhood than Minnie. Minnie had zero impact as a kid. I'm pushing Jimmy Neutron through.
Let's go.
I actually loved Jimmy Neutron, the show itself. So again, I'm pandering.
Absolutely.
Anyways, we're moving on. The 3-14 matchup. The 14 seed Eddie from Ed, and Eddie. That's Eddy.
That's the dumb one.
No, he's the smart one. He's the only one that has Ed and Ed. The two Eds are both dumb as shit. Then
so single D is the dumb but conniving and like underhanded
that's
one.
Double D, I thought.
No, that's double D. 1D is the tall one who's just like rock.
The idiot.
Regardless, hot take. Fucking hated that show. He's going up against Patrick Starr, the 3 seed. I'm voting Patrick.
It's just not even a conversation. Yeah.
So I did love Ed, and Eddie, but it also speaks to the show when the best character on it's a wood plank.
Exactly.
Yes. I just had to represent them here, and Eddie was he was the only one that could talk in the entire show.
Yep.
7-10 matchup. This could be a little complicated for our pal Andy. We have the 10 seed Twister versus
Maurice.
Maurice is his legal name.
God-given name.
His slave name.
Versus the 7 seed Ash Ketchum.
Oh.
Say it again, Colin.
The matchup is Ash Ketchum from Pokemon. Gotta catch 'em all.
Okay.
I lean Twister because I kind of thought Ash was a little bit of a pussy and he gave too much preferential treatment to Pikachu.
Oh, Kyle has a take here.
You're going to call the greatest Pokemon trainer in the fucking world a pussy?
Andy's got it.
To do what he did at his age, he goes in, he earns all 9 badges, he goes into these gyms of these guys that are like 30, 40 years old, and he just fucking smokes their asses. And then he beats their asses so bad that they join with him, like Misty and Brock. They were gym trainers first. He kicks their ass, and they're like, "Hey, if you can't beat him, join him. This kid's gonna fucking do something special." Twister's funny, but he's not even like the 3rd, 4th best character on that show. This show's all about Ash. Pokemon.
Dude, Ash literally created a dynasty.
All right, so Ash is moving on.
Yeah.
Ash is moving on.
Thomas, do you have a counterpoint or no?
No, it's not as strong as Ash, but I do love Twister. I love the hat. I love the blue paint, the blue penny, and he could skate. So it's a tough matchup for him. It's a shame to see him get bounced this early.
Connor, I thought this was tougher for one split second because I loved Twister as a character, and I thought he was so cool. There's really no depth to him though whatsoever. Ash is just absolute icon force, pushing through.
Look at him
He
now.
just shit on my Twister pick. Just shit all over it. It was over in a matter of seconds.
I actually don't hate Twister. I feel like
No,
that's disrespect
Twister.
to Ash.
And the last matchup is Blossom. I'm guessing from the Powder Puff Girls
Yeah, that's the representative from the Powder Puff Girls. Yep.
versus Winnie the Pooh. We're
Winnie.
moving on.
But I disagree with the representative of the Powerpuff Girls. It shouldn't have been any of the Powerpuff Girls. It should have been Mojo Jojo.
The monkey, the bad guy.
Yeah, the monk. Yeah.
All right, so we're back to the first region we did, and I'll be honest, all these matchups are fairly tough. Let's go. Let's do the 1 seed first. We got the 1 seed Bugs Bunny. That's all, folks. That's not Bugs Bunny versus the 9 seed Johnny Bravo. I'm going
That's not
Bugs.
Bugs Bunny.
I'm gonna go Bugs Bunny. I'm gonna keep it simple here.
Yeah.
I mean, Bravo is a great representative, but he can't handle Bugs' pressure here.
I agree. Don't
Yeah.
overthink this one.
All right, this next one may not be as tough either. It's the 12 seed Helga G. Pataki. That's Helga G. Pataki to you, Thomas.
What's the G stand for? Gina?
I actually don't know.
I don't either. I don't
Versus
know
the
if
4
they
seed T.J. Detweiler, who is my pick.
Detweiler.
Now it's getting kind of tough. I'll go with this matchup first. We have Donald Duck versus Leonardo, not DiCaprio from the Ninja Turtles.
Da Vinci.
All right, I'll start us off here. I know Donald Duck's icon, but for me personally, I had all the Ninja Turtle action figures. I loved them as a kid. It was one of my favorite cartoons. Leo was my favorite turtle out of the bunch, and I'm going to Leo here.
Going Leo. That's one Leo. Who wants it? Andy,
I'm
you were about to say something.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go Leo. I don't like Donald that much.
He's crabby.
Sometimes I think he's kind of like he's like an old man. Like
He's pissy.
He gets kind of annoying. He's always crying about shit. Leo's he's a ninja. He can literally kill you probably 1,000 different ways. And he's a turtle. So that's pretty impressive.
Kyle, you want to say Leonardo, don't you?
No doubt. I think Donald is one of the most overrated in anything. Like I said, Daffy by 10 billion miles. And Daffy's a 7 seed, Donald's a 3 seed, question mark?
Daffy was a 13, disrespected.
So, important point about the tournament overall is the institutions who have been here for 10 years can clean up in the first round. Second round's where it starts getting real for sure. Everybody who's in the second round deserves to be there. So, if you don't have a reason to be there, then get out.
I'm fine with the Leonardo pick.
The matchup of the second round. The 6 seed Gerald Johansson versus the 3 seed Tommy Pickles.
Ooh.
It's an easy one for me, but who wants to go first?
This is a racially charged debate here.
That is correct.
I'll go. Go ahead, Tom.
Babies versus teenagers.
All right. I love them both. Really
Love them
great
both.
characters, in their own right. Like we said in the first debate, Tommy Pickles, leader, always repping the diaper, always sucking the binky. The kid is he's a born leader, and Gerald has a great hair. His costumes still reign in Halloween parties everywhere. I'm going Tommy here, 3/6.
I'll go. Fuck it. I'm going Gerald. Like I previously said, Tommy was a coward when his brother was born. Like, a good leader would have accepted his brother into the group, and he didn't initially. I thought that was bullshit. All Gerald has been is a really good friend. And guess what? When they play the 6th graders in football, who catches the winning touchdown pass in the rain? It's fucking Gerald.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you, Andy. Kyle, your hand was raised. You are up.
I'm gonna put a. Have you ever heard of a dynamic character? Tommy Pickles sure struggles with his brother being born. He's fucking 1 year old, and he grows up in front of our eyes during that movie. He perfectly handles it from that day then forth. So don't even worry about that. It's a brief 20-minute moment of weakness to build some adversity in the movie.
2-1 in favor of Tommy.
2, if Gerald was really that great, then the show would be built around him the way it's built around Tommy Pickles. I'm going Tommy Pickles.
That one hurt.
Andy's indifferent, so I'll go. So there's one Hey Arnold episode that I remember fondly. Is the Chocolate Turtles episode? Do you remember that where they're making the Chocolate Turtles?
Bitch ass sister fucks everything up.
Yeah,
it's a great episode.
But Gerald through and through, like, he managed his composure the whole way. They ended up still resolving the entire issue, pushing out the Chocolate Turtle. So I've been making the point where the higher seeds are the guys that have their own shows. But even though Tommy was the leader, the show isn't called Tommy Picks, right? it's called the Rugrats, right? Yep. And you know what? Gerald is arguably the strongest sidekick in this tournament. Maybe Patrick Starr probably has him, but I think Gerald is up there. And you know what? I'm gonna push this to Andy to see if he wants to flip the coin or if he has a strong enough point here to pick a side. So I'm gonna go Gerald.
Oh man, this one's really tough. All great points. I mean, it's obviously Tommy has the leadership and he demands respect from people. Gerald just has that unwavering loyalty, and I think oh man, I'm gonna have to go. I'm going Gerald here.
Yes.
I think he's just he's a very cool character. He's smooth, hell of a singing voice too, when he busts out Moonlight Bay.
When he loses his tonsils.
Yeah.
That takes conviction. That came over you. I appreciate it.
I had to do it.
I think the real upset here was Andy making a decision, which is why I was so pumped to not go the chalk can. I'm very happy that you had a strong enough opinion to make it. I love that.
Yeah, I thought about just letting it flip, but I just felt
he
deserves this one.
I love it.
Heart of hearts. All right, the 1-9 matchup. We have the 9 seed Timmy Turner versus the 1 seed Scooby Dooby Doo, Ruh-Roh Shaggy. That is my pick.
I have no argument for Timmy.
You're going home, pal.
Yeah.
We left it all out there in the first round for Timmy. He's not even the best character on his own show.
He's not. Oh, this is a little interesting 4-5 matchup. We have the 4 seed Jerry, one of Will's favorite characters, as he said, versus the 5 seed Squidward.
I want Kyle to start this one because this is the same This is the same character portrayal that he mentioned earlier.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm for sure going Squidward here. Yeah. Squidward has become an icon among sarcastic Twitter users over the last several years. I'm definitely getting Squidward. Shout out to the episode where he ate too many Krabby Patties and his thighs blew.
Okay, Krabby Patties on Squidward. Thomas, who you got?
I'm going Squidward here. The episode where he led an orchestra against his evil henchman brother and just put him in the dirt. He just showed up. He showed out. He might be a miserable fuck sometimes, but I love Squidward. So 5/4 here.
What's his brother's name? Do you remember?
Squilliam Fancy Son.
That's it.
Yes. Kier, are you voting Jerry?
I really don't have a strong take either side. So if Connor, if you or Andy have are voting for Squidward, then make that take. Then
I would like to be convinced.
I can't Andy, if you want to just run it the other way.
I was gonna vote Squidward. So
yeah.
Then
make it easy on you guys. I agree with Kyle. It's like it is one of those things. Like as I've gotten older, he's just so much more relatable, and it's just like that's why I think that's why it's hilarious because you're like I get this now, you know.
Yeah.
But if we were doing this bracket pod, 10 years ago, Jerry might have been,
Absolutely.
Because he's mischievous, he's goofy, he's funny, yeah. But we just hate those people now.
See, I think that's what it is I still watch SpongeBob, like, it's like one of the shows I'll throw on randomly just like as I go to sleep. So SpongeBob is very much in my life, and I still love Squidward through and through.
Yeah.
Fair.
I feel like I kind of contradicted myself because I was talking about how Donald Duck is that way because they're kind of similar, but like I think Squidward's way funnier and like it's just it's a different style.
No doubt.
Donald was just more a historical icon than Squidward, but once Donald went to the Navy, he kind of got brainwashed. He became too much of a hard ass.
Yeah.
So these next two matchups are fun ones. Fun, I said. F is for friends who do stuff together. We have the 6 seed Fred Flintstone versus the 3 seed Shaggy.
Wow.
Because they're both characters that like kind of barely got by in the first round. So it's not like anyone is really attached to any of them, but I feel like Thomas was a big Shaggy fan, so Thomas should start this argument.
So I'm going to start off. Both movies, like whenever they had them in like the mid-2000s, were horrendous. So that's going to take a dip in both of those guys' stock. But if I'm going, just going out there every episode, showing off, Shaggy still gets it for me against Fred here. Fred has the strength. He's got the kids. He's got the hot wife. But Shaggy's still grinding every episode with a dog by his side. Everyone else just left him. He's like, here, you're with Scooby. And you're going to talk with Scooby and figure out the issue here. So I'm going Shaggy.
Andy, go.
I got to pass right now. I'm kind of torn here.
Who wants it? Kyle wants it. Your hand is raised to go.
First of all, I do disagree with Thomas's take halfway. Because I loved the Scooby-Doo movie whenever it first came out. I thought that was
same.
Yeah,
same.
Are you talking about the live-action movie?
Yep.
Yeah, it has like
Freddie Prinze Jr. is Fred.
Yeah, and Matthew Lillard is fucking Shaggy. Like,
yep,
that's a good one. The first one's
Scrappy's the bad guy.
And
dude, sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
I was gonna say the Flintstone movie is fantastic too. With John Goodman as Fred and
Halle
Rick
Berry.
Moranis plays Barney.
I was gonna shout out that next was Rick Moranis and Halle Berry making an appearance, but I like the Scooby-Doo movie better. And also shout out Sugar Ray at the peak of their powers, turning into the monsters at the beginning of the movie. I love that scene.
Oh, that's right, Sugar Ray.
But so for me, these two characters are in the second round mostly based off their iconic status, and I love Shaggy way more than I ever loved Fred Flintstone, so I think it's an easy Shaggy for me.
Shaggy boys?
Yeah. I'm going Shaggy.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well said.
In this last matchup, I feel like I know where everyone's going to lean, but I want Thomas to start this matchup. We have the 2 seed,
I started the last one here.
but I want you to start this one too.
Okay, well, I'm going Goofy here.
Rocket versus Goofy.
Yeah, I love Otto. I thought he was one of my favorite shows as a kid. Rocket Power was great. But, Goofy, I made a point of this last argument. His son is an absolute stud. I don't know who he slept with to produce that kid, but that kid, the movie that came out was great. I love that movie.
Love it.
Yeah.
And his kid is you're just drawn to him. He's a good kid. He's athletic. He means well. His best friend, he used to suck down the cheese whiz. I love that guy. And,
Yes!
I'm going with Goofy here as the 7 seed over the 2.
Sold me because Otto at times would be like a tough guy.
God.
2 for Goofy. Let's go. Let's do this, Tom.
I don't even need next one. Otto is a lock for me. He was the kid you were watching on TV. You wanted to be like Otto Rocket. You didn't want to be like Goofy. You want to be like Otto Rocket. He was the fucking man. It was his show. He owned it, and he was the coolest character on TV. Otto Rocket and a landslide for me.
Thomas, we'll be on the right side of history. Andy, you're up.
I'm gonna go Otto too. I think the versatility and dude, the kid's a stud at how many different sports? Like 9? I don't know. It's fucking crazy.
They even like bobsled and shit down those.
Yeah, like any
or luge or whatever.
He's got it. I do want to say.
What do we think his best sport is?
Skateboarding.
I think surfing.
I was just say surfing. It's tough. I don't know.
All right, sorry, I just want to throw that out there. Continue your point, Andy. Sorry.
No, that's it. I'm gonna go Auto Rocket.
So this one does feel a lot closer than the last matchup. If I did have to vote, I would do Auto Rocket. Just based on, I'll make my argument later if he makes it through. But I do just want to shout out the episode whenever he does the 900 McTwist after trying for several hundred times.
Yes.
Tennis ball.
Oh, where he needed a tennis ball to help him because he couldn't do it himself. Coward.
Dude. But he still put off something no one ever has done.
And similar to that episode, not to segue too much into it, he's going to need some help here to get through. We're going to the chalk can.
Yes!
Let's go.
You call it in the air.
So this will be Goofy. Goofy will be what you call.
Correct.
Heads.
Okay. All right, we got a side
Oh
one.
my god.
Side one. Again, a double-sider!
Wow.
Let's go! Let's go!
It is heads.
Third, dude. That's a huge upset.
That's
I think that is a huge upset.
Like I said, Thomas, we'd be on the right side of history.
Look at that matchup. Shaggy versus Goofy. Who would have thought?
Dude, I think any of the last 4 teams remaining, any one of them can come out of that region. It's gonna be a good one at the end, folks. The next
R.I.P. Otto, though, man.
Wow,
You hate to see
that's
that.
crazy.
I'm pumped
Hate to
about
see it,
that.
but had to see it.
Tom. All right, you have the 1-9 matchup. The 9 seed Tigger versus. What you doing there, Andy?
What? Sorry.
The 1
I'm
seed.
getting like text from
We're on SpongeBob, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna grab a beer real fast. I'll come in next round.
I'm going Tigger.
Whoa! The phones.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I completely said at the beginning that Tigger is one of my top 5 characters in this bracket. SpongeBob isn't. Like, he has the show, but I find him pretty annoying at this point. I think Patrick is way funnier than SpongeBob. SpongeBob does some little Barry who runs around the show, just causing problems for everybody. Tigger, if Goofy's getting through on icon status, then Tigger is 10 times the icon that Goofy is. I'm going Tigger, no doubt.
Wow.
I don't know about the 10 times the icon is Goofy, but that's we're not having that discussion. So we technically have one for Tigger because I didn't necessarily cast a vote. That's
I didn't see one vote for SpongeBob.
that was so passionate.
It was. No, SpongeBob has the show. He's great. He's very funny sometimes. But I think Patrick's a way funnier character in just general. I would rather hang out and like laugh at Patrick than SpongeBob.
I think Thomas would like to go.
The fact that Patrick's a great character, I'm taking nothing away from him. SpongeBob and Patrick together, that's like a PB&J for cartoons. Like,
Yep, that's very true.
love each other, and a lot of the best moments from that show come from those two jellyfishing or I don't know what else going under the rock. I think Tigger is a great 9 seed. He had a great run, but tough matchup for him. It ends here. SpongeBob.
Agreed.
I'd like to say a point real quick. Andy,
I
how do you
wanted
think
to
you'd
start,
be as a
that's all.
jellyfisher?
What's that?
How do you think you'd be as a jellyfisher?
I don't know. Probably not that good. I'm not like an outdoorsman. I've never been a good
It's a tough
fisherman or hunter. You know,
Yeah.
I think I'd probably struggle.
So Kier, you said Tigger, correct? Or no,
I said
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob.
SpongeBob. So that's 2-1 in favor of SpongeBob. Andy, what do you got?
I'm with Kyle here. I'm gonna go Tigger. He is an icon. That's Winnie the Pooh is one of my favorite. I used to watch the movie more so growing up, but
Pooh.
I'm kind of with him. Where like at this point, I think I like Patrick more. I know they're a good duo together, but Patrick's fucking hilarious. I like Squidward more. I think I even like Plankton's fucking hilarious too. It's a tough call. I mean, but yeah, I'm gonna go Tigger.
Mr. Krabs is also funnier than SpongeBob, so Tigger's moving on.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Man.
That is wow.
That's even though like that's my side, but I still stand by it. Like I think SpongeBob, just as a character, I enjoy the least out of like all of the other funny ones that we mentioned. So makes sense.
That's fair. I get it.
I just cut my bracket.
Thomas, you're a Tigger guy. You're a Tigger guy.
I was for the first round, and I want him to get trumped the second round. This is unreal. Ruin my bracket.
Anyways, we're moving on.
Let's go, baby.
This is a tough 5-13. Or it's a fun 5-13.
This is why they call it March Madness, folks.
Madness.
We
dude.
have the 5 seed, Garfield, just sucking down his lasagna. I'd love some lasagna right now. Versus the 13 seed, Daffy Duck.
Wow.
Who would like to start?
Damn.
Kyle, you feel like you have to say something? Or Thomas, do you have to say something?
I do have to
He's
say.
fired up after this.
Thomas is going to be firing on all cylinders now. Let's go, Thomas. Who you got?
Okay, so the fact that we seeded Daffy Duck as a 13 seed is already
Absurd.
criminal. But this matchup here, Garfield versus Daffy Duck, I still have the Duck by a landslide.
Quack, quack.
Quack, quack. And here's why. The guy shows up to make you laugh every single time. What is the cat doing? He's eating your leftover lasagna. He's slouching around. He's being a bum. Oh, what's this episode going to be about? Garfield being lazy. Daffy Duck, every single episode he brings the heat. New comedic relief every single time. I got the Duck, 13/5, Daffy.
Who was the dog that was Garfield's friend? Because the show was called Garfield and
Otis.
Friends.
Odie.
Odie.
You're right.
So, I mean, the show was called Garfield and Friends. So he obviously wasn't lazy enough where he was just by himself here. Who is Daffy Duck's arch nemesis of Speedy Gonzalez? Is that correct? Or am I just first?
I feel like it may have been Bugs because he always wanted. I feel like he always wanted to be Bugs, but he was never Bugs. Needless to say, that's my pick. I'm also.
I really don't have a strong take either way. I remember watching Garfield, but like the fact that it's called Garfield and Friends doesn't show. I mean, if you're just that lazy, you wouldn't have any friends. And he had a lot of good friends. He just had a fucking crazy appetite. On the record, I'm gonna go with Garfield here. I think Garfield, he has his own fucking roller coaster at Kennywood. I mean, he's made an impression. He really has.
It's 2-1 Daffy right now. Who wants it between Kyle and Andy?
Andy.
Andy wants it.
This is so hard for me. Garfield's my guy.
He's your guy.
Here's my thing. I used to watch a lot of Looney Tunes growing up.
Same.
And it was almost like a skit show, right? Like each character kind of had their own thing, and I don't really remember Daffy's like what his skits were about or who he was running around with. Because like every time,
no, that wasn't even Daffy.
That was Sylvester.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like you can think, all right, Bugs was always like getting hunted by Elmer Fudd. Wile E. Coyote was always chasing the Roadrunner. Like I don't know what Daffy did.
Elmer Fudd hunted the duck too.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah. I don't think that's true. And I'm a Daffy supporter. I don't think that's true.
Yeah, let them both.
I do agree with Thomas though. Like in Space Jam, Daffy is like the funniest character. He's moving hilarious. No, but
oh shit!
But
I'm going Garfield. That is my boy.
Hold on me. Go to the toss.
If they made a cartoon about Andy Gianta, it would be Garfield.
Yeah, so I do have to go to the toss here. Like I was gonna vote Daffy. Andy kind of convinced me to stay off. Like I hate Garfield. I hate the comic strip. I never found that funny. Didn't like the movies or anything. But for integrity's sake, it does feel right to go the coin toss here. So that's what I'm gonna do.
Here, you call it in the air, and you were on the record as a Garfield guy, correct?
All right, so I'll call
Whatever-
Garfield in there.
Whatever side you say is how it happens, how it moves on.
All right,
Okay.
Kyle. As long as I can see you,
Sorry, I was looking for it.
you're good.
Okay. Ready? 3,
Yep.
2, 1.
Tails.
It is-
Garfield.
Fuck.
Let's go.
Garfield. I gotta pee real
Tigger
quick.
versus Garfield.
Thomas, history will remember us fondly. History will know we were on the right side there.
Hopefully, I'm gonna try to find some more Garfield points to pull through Sweet 16.
I gotta be honest. I feel like there's one team left in this region that has just a cakewalk to the Final Four, and when I get to them, you will know.
Okay.
We're on the 11-3 matchup. The 11 seed Velma versus the 3 seed Goku.
Wow, what a matchup here.
Kier, would you like to go?
Sure. So I was really strong on Velma in the first round. Like I said, I think she is the brains behind every operation in Scooby-Doo. I feel like they would just be running around doing nothing if she wasn't a part of Scooby-Doo. But I'm being completely honest, I wasn't a big Dragon Ball Z watcher. I did watch it like occasionally, but I think Goku was really important as a character. I mean, Dragon Ball Z is enormous, and I know the people that did watch Dragon Ball Z absolutely loved it and still can go back and watch episodes. Like I was saying, like all of us can go back and watch a SpongeBob episode, but if anyone that like grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, in my opinion, Goku's just the stronger character here and should win in advance.
Thomas, how do you feel?
I agree with Kier. If we were to put these two in a battle royale, so to speak, Goku would probably destroy Velma into 1,000 pieces with his blast. I mean, the kid is just talented with unbelief. He has the banana hair whenever he goes Super Saiyan, and Velma's just sitting
I like
there with
that
his-
hair.
It's a good
So
look.
is Goku moving on for you? Kyle, go.
Yeah, Goku is moving on. So I'm with Will. I didn't really watch Dragon Ball Z. My roommate Al is like super into that stuff. Every time I go downstairs, he's watching Dragon Ball Z reruns. Like he would 100% kill me if I didn't vote for him in this matchup. 2, Goku is actually one of the best Crazy Bones. If you remembered Crazy Bones,
Oh my gosh, crazy.
he has the giant hair. You'd flip him on his side, and he would fuck people up. That and Bubbles, the monkey from Dragon Ball Z, were 2 of the best Crazy Bones in the game. So I'm
Crazy
definitely.
Bones.
I'll say this about Velma. She was the only female to advance to the second round in Jinkies.
Wow.
In bracket history.
No, in the Disney character pod, because there were some
Okay.
princesses that moved
Yeah,
on.
princesses.
There was.
Andy, you start this matchup. We have the 10 seed Tito
Hey,
versus
brother.
Arnold.
I think this one's pretty easy for me. I'm gonna go.
So you will start the next matchup then, Andy.
Yeah, Arnold is in a landslide here.
Arnold.
Shout out Tito though. He's
Yeah.
the man.
Put it on Keats.
Trying to think what's a fun matchup to start with of these. Let's go with Mickey versus Plankton, the 1-9 matchup. Does anyone feel strongly one way or the other?
Mickey for
I think
me.
it has to be Mickey. Yeah.
This is a hard way to see Plankton go. I
You hate
mean,
to see it. You do.
does
Yeah.
anyone have a strong, convincing Plankton argument?
Not
Yeah.
really. You just hate to see the Cinderella run into like Gonzaga, who's just been
Yeah.
there.
Sucks.
Whoever.
Yeah, it's
If Plankton were to get the recipe, then maybe, but you got to get it.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're going 4-5 now. Andy, you are starting this one. We have Tom, the cat from Tom and Jerry, versus Arthur. Thomas wants it, Andy. Thomas wants it. He raises
Let
his
him
hand.
have it.
It's fair.
All right, I'm going Arthur here. Strictly
Wow.
based off of in elementary school, I would read the books for the AR points, and it would be like 30-page books. And it'd be an easy 5 points. You get the Jolly Rancher at the end of the week, so I'm going Arthur here.
What's your favorite Jolly Rancher flavor?
Blueberry.
Wow, that was quick.
Blue raspberry.
I'm gonna really fast.
Self.
I'm gonna hop on Thomas. I actually was Arthur for Halloween one year, so I have to vote for Arthur in this one. I have to.
Love that.
I'll end it. I'll go Arthur. Sorry, I like the show better. I
I was gonna vote for Tom, just for the record.
And I say,
You
hey,
were loyal to Tom in that
what a
first round.
wonderful time to
You made
play.
some compelling points. Arthur, though, was a show. Arthur probably only if we look it up, I bet you it lasted like 3 years, maybe. But I guarantee you I've seen every single episode of Arthur. That's a fact.
This is a very, very, very fun matchup, Andy. It's the 6 seed Jimmy Neutron versus a 3 seed Patrick Starr.
Taking the over.
You have yes, the over is bet to make, but we're not doing over-unders here. We're doing the spreads. Kyle, I saw a hand raised right there. But
I think this is easy for me. Like, Jimmy Neutron is a great show, and I wanted to push him through that first round, but Patrick's a fucking powerhouse here.
Yeah,
He
I
would
agree.
destroy Jimmy
I'm with
Neutron.
you.
Agreed.
Patrick's the kind of guy, he gets stronger as the fight goes on. He's just in his element right now.
now, Andy, I'm trying to get you to start one, but I think you should come last year because I want to hear your opinion on this because this matchup's gonna tug at your heartstrings. It's the 7 seed Ash Ketchup, aka Ash Ketchum, versus Winnie the Pooh.
Oh man.
Wow.
Or if you want to go first, you can go first. Like I think I need.
I think
need to-
Andy's opinion rocks the boat here.
Yeah,
This one.
I really need to be convinced because, on one hand, for me, Kyle, and Andy, we were part of the Disney character bracket, and when he took us on a magical ride. But I grew up playing Pokemon Red, Pokemon Blue.
I mean, yeah. I'm gonna. Oh, man. Winnie the Pooh. Like I had one of his VHSs, and I think I used to watch it once a week. I loved Winnie the Pooh so much, but like the way that Pokemon took the world by storm when I think I was in like 2nd grade was when we first started getting cards, and then the Game Boy games, and I mean the impact that had on my life is way greater than Winnie the Pooh, and I think Ash's accomplishments are way more impressive than Winnie. Don't get me wrong, Winnie's the man, but like he just kind of lived life, and like Thomas said, just sat around, ate honey. I'm going Ash here. Pokemon. He's a Pokemon master.
He's a little hungover from winning the Disney character pod.
Yeah. I think that's my pick too, Andy.
I'm with you on Ash there.
I was gonna go with whatever Andy picked. I needed to be swayed. He swayed me. Ash, moving on.
And it doesn't always work out that way. Do you remember the magical run that Thomas O'Malley and the Aristocats went on? And then he flamed out in the 2nd round in the character bracket.
That's right. You can't. You have to take it one bracket at a time. You can't let previous.
No, this is mostly out of our hands.
Yeah. And boys, we're on to the Sweet 16, which technically should have been on Thursday and Friday, like of this week, which is very disappointing. But this is our Sweet 16. And Thomas, I want you to start with this matchup because we have the 4 seed T.J. Detweiler versus the 1 seed Bugs Bunny. Go.
Wow.
Bugs Bunny has been a landslide his first 2 matchups. He was the overall number 1 seed coming in, I would guess.
Yes.
Perhaps. Carry on.
His accolades line up: the show, the movie, and Space Jam. The woman he would get in Lola Bunny is probably easy enough to outdance. So I'm going Bugs here.
Kyle.
I don't feel strongly either way.
Pass then. We can pass then.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass here.
Here, you're up.
I'm gonna go for TJ. I mean, dude, recess was like, as soon as I got home from school, I would fill up my glass of chocolate milk, get ready at 3 p.m., turn on Toon Disney, channel 292 on DirecTV, and then I would watch from 3 to 4 fucking recess, and then SpongeBob would come on after that. But Detweiler, dude, here's what I love about him is he was a leader of all these kids, but he had no ego at all. Bugs Bunny was the most clever Looney Tunes character there is, but he had a fucking ego. He knew he was smarter than everyone, and you know what? That goes to I love Bugs Bunny, but he did everything he did with a little bit of a snark, where TJ was doing it out of just love for his friends. So I'm gonna go with TJ here.
Wow. That's a great argument.
I love
a great argument.
I'm with Kier. You fucking nailed it too, because that was literally that was the routine. It was 3 o'clock. Toon Disney. You even got the channel right. Recess would come on for an hour. Like, TJ. I imagine. Yeah, I mean, dude, TJ just like you said it perfectly. He's doesn't have an ego. He genuinely cares about his crew, and he takes responsibility for making sure that they get through elementary school. And
some would say a poor man's Donnie Yoho, TJ Detweiler.
I love Donnie Yoho.
Donnie, he looks like him. But yeah,
Kyle, do you have a pick, Kyle? Because I have a pick.
Not really, so go ahead.
I went into this matchup Bugs all the way. Kier's argument, though, swayed me. Not enough to change my pick. We're going Bugs.
Wow.
I'm a Bugs guy through and through. Like I love Bugs Bunny. I love him. You know what? Sometimes you need to have an ego, and I like guys that have an ego at times, and he's one of those guys.
Just when you're literally better than everyone else you have.
He's better and he knows it, and I'm fine with that. Can't help it.
Yeah, I mean, Will's argument definitely convinced me, and I want to vote for TJ. But I didn't have a very strong opinion on this, so it doesn't feel right to be able to decide it, so I'm going to just leave it up to the gods here.
God damn.
I'll call it in the air.
So you're for
Bugs.
Three, 2, 1.
Tails.
No, TJ.
Uh-oh.
It feels wrong letting Bugs move on, but that happens in the tournament sometimes.
But Bugs could just take with momentum now. I mean, he might just run.
I feel good letting that happen. I think TJ should have gone through, but it's too late.
Yeah. I gave everything I had into that speech.
Tremendous argument, because I know exactly what you're talking about, coming home from school and watching the 2 straight episodes of Recess. It was great. It was the best.
I saw Andy's heart get broken, though, last week, like 4 times in the first round. So.
I'm still not over Mike Winchell.
Dude, the point was, it's just...
That's how it goes.
Yeah.
Those are upsets.
It's out of hands, like I said.
Now we have this is a 6-7 Sweet 16 matchup. 6-7. We have Leonardo from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles versus the 60 Gerald Johansson.
Wow.
Who would like to start?
I'll take it.
Yes, you will, brother.
So we've covered a lot of these too in the first 2 rounds. I talked about my love for Leo. I'm going Leo here because the 4 of them stuck together over Gerald and Arnold being a great dynamic duo. Leo stuck together and fought crime with 3 other turtles who had swords and nunchucks and ninja blades, and they dominated through and through. They were a great cartoon. They still have cartoons going on. They made an animated series about them, and even though Gerald was a great character whenever we were young, Leo still is bringing in the cash. I'm going Leo here.
Kyle.
I don't feel very strongly either way, but I much prefer Gerald and would not like the last vote to come down to me again, so I'm voting Gerald.
I'm also going Gerald because what happens when they are going up against the 6th graders in trash can day when they're just shoving kids in trash cans? Gerald sticks with Arnold the entire time because Gerald's a loyal guy. And I want that guy in my foxhole. He's just loyal. Like I like Leonardo. I respect him as a leader. I don't know. I'm a Gerald guy. I'm drawn to him. Plus he has a cool jersey, 33. Not a bad number.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little biased here, so I'm just gonna end it now. I'm gonna vote for Gerald. Andy, I don't know if you were strongly opinionated about Leonardo, but I can remember, like, in my memory bank, I have way more, like, hilarious and just grateful Gerald moments than Leonardo moments. So I'm gonna go with Gerald there.
Sure.
I love these next 2 matchups in the next region. I love them. And I wouldn't want to start, so I'm making Andy start. The 1 seed, Scooby-Doo, versus the 5 seed, Squidward.
Wow.
I have a lean I'd like to go, but I can be convinced. Do you want to start, Andy, or would you like to pass it?
I can start.
You can start, folks. He can start.
I think it's somewhat close, but I mean, just if you take a step back and just take a deep breath, you got to go Scooby-Doo.
Kyle.
I actually completely disagree with that. So I think if I'm taking the step back, SpongeBob is way more impactful to my life than Scooby-Doo ever was. Scooby-Doo probably I watched from like 6 to 9 maybe with the movie after and like episodes sprinkled in. SpongeBob 8 to 15
Now.
probably very consistently and still watch it all the time. And Squidward is just one character that has grown over the years with me. I'm pretty sure Scooby-Doo's going to move on in this matchup, but I want to strongly cast my vote for Squidward here.
That's fair. And before Thomas or Connor can respond, I'm a strong Scooby-Doo taker here. That show is really important in my upcoming. He's just, when was he ever upset? When did he ever give you?
Never.
When was he ever like making you feel any type of doubt? Anything?
Never.
He was uplifting 100% of the time, and I don't know. I don't want to take anything away from Squidward because from just a pure character standpoint, perfect for the show. But
I go Scooby-Doo, by the way.
In my childhood, I was like, why is Squidward always being such a dick to Patrick and SpongeBob?
It's
and
true.
Scooby-Doo was you're rooting for him 100% of the time. So this, for me, I'm going Scooby-Doo.
Yep.
Well said.
No hate.
You don't hear
I think-
Scooby snacks. You hear Scooby snacks. Scooby from
Squidward's downfall is playing the clarinet. Like, if he played the drums or guitar, like, that makes a strong argument for him. Just saying.
Yeah.
Yep. No hate. Just represent. Still love Scooby-Doo. So it's fair to see him move on as a 1 seed.
This is a one.
Clarinet's honestly like the lamest instrument you could pick.
Lame. It's lame.
Curtis played the clarinet in 4th grade.
That doesn't surprise me for a single second.
I'm just kidding. He did.
No, he played it. Don't lie. Andy. He
Totally
played it. Let that
We played trumpet.
Curtis also went to Morp.
Shout out ISO 9 while we're here.
I love that. This was an incredibly fun matchup. It's just two jokesters we got in this one. We have the 7 seed Goofy versus the 3 seed Shaggy, and I need to be convinced.
Oh,
I need to be
man.
convinced.
Oh, wow. I think Thomas has a take brewing.
So we
You
got the
cooking
14 and
hot over
7
there.
seed in the Sweet 16. Am I correct?
3-7, 3-7, 3-7. Shaggy's the 3, Goofy's the 7.
Okay. So I'm gonna go Goofy here. I've been riding Goofy hard and Shaggy hard. The fact that Goofy is just in one of the best attractions in the world in Disney World and bringing in kids, making them happy, and they're wearing the Goofy hat. They got the droopy ears. Shaggy was a cute story, Cinderella, but I go Goofy here.
You know what? I'm going to go now. And I'm a sucker for the icons. I really am. Like the Bugses, the Mickeys, the Michael Jordans, all that. For me, it really just comes down to the relationship Shaggy has with Goofy. Not with Scooby.
Yeah.
And I'm just a sucker for that. They're two peas in a pod, and I'm going Shaggy. I'm going Shaggy.
You need the Scooby Shaggy matchup in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, maybe I'm rooting for that to decide who's the alpha in the relationship.
Man's best friend.
Correct. You want to say something, Andy?
This one's really tough.
It's a tough one for sure.
I do think. Oh man.
Or if you're not ready, we can pass it.
No, I'm with you. I'm gonna go Shaggy. I also think, and this isn't Goofy's fault, but it's absolute horseshit that Goofy, runs around, has a family, driving cars, and he's a dog and talks, and then Pluto's a dog, and he doesn't even have a fucking voice. He's locked up in a cage half the time, and Mickey probably beats him. Like, what the fuck's that about? It's bullshit. Not Goofy's fault, but I'm gonna have to dock a point there, and I'm gonna go Shaggy.
Wow.
Kyle or Will, who feels strongly one way or the other?
I'll just do us all a favor and end it right now. I think it's Shaggy easily for me. I mean, I get that Goofy's an icon, but Shaggy's an icon too. Yeah, I felt bad for not voting for Scooby in that Squidward one, so I'm going to apply that same argument here. Is where I don't really remember too many Goofy cartoons, and I remember Scooby-Doo more than that just because it was more recent and relevant to my childhood than Goofy was. So I'm voting Shaggy.
We all want to see the Scooby Shaggy Elite Eight matchup.
Absolutely.
We all want to see it. We all want to see it. So, Kier, you're going to start this matchup. Yep.
Wait, I do want to say. Goofy, there's a funny meme. Like, his thing is like he says yuck or whatever, like yuck. Yuck. It's a picture of Goofy like bent over, and it's like face down, ass up. That's the way we like to yuck.
You went Shaggy. I don't know why you went Goofy there.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Kier, where are you feeling on this? You going Shaggy as well? I'm over.
For the record's sake, I would have gone up to the coin flip. I feel like the Goofy conviction though was pretty strong. I think
it was.
If it came down to it, I would have went to Chaw flip. But if it was 2-1 and it came to me, I think I would have gone Goofy. So interesting there.
Yep.
I'll be honest, I'm just looking through at the remaining teams. I have no idea who's going to win. I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite.
That was the best part about making the bracket. It's so wide open.
You are starting this matchup. Right. It's a feline matchup. Of orange feline matchups. We have the 9 seed Tigger versus the 5 seed Garfield. I need to be convinced one way or the other. Kier, if you aren't ready to start, you can pass to someone. But if you are ready, you can just say, "Hey, I'm picking blank."
All right, I'll make my take here. I've already kind of slighted Tigger a little bit during this pod. I don't think he should have made it through to the second round. I was pretty upset about that. and I've been supporting Garfield. I just think Garfield gets this everyone thinks he has his ego and that he's lazy and only does is eat lasagna. But again, I'm going to go back to the fact that as a kid, I remember watching his show. I guarantee you the show lasts a long time, called Garfield and Friends. He was a friend of many, and I'm serious. And I know Tigger was a great guy, but like it was Garfield's show, and where he gets this like egotistical, lazy kind of mentality dropped on top of him. I don't think that's completely true. I think as he gets older, he becomes like us. We've mentioned a couple of times, like we get older, we hate, people that are stingy and we don't want to deal with that. But I think in the prime of Garfield's life, he was just he could powerhouse through food, and he was a great character. I think Garfield brings more personality than Tigger. I'm going to go with Garfield.
So you think Garfield gets a bad rap for being lazy?
I think he does because, when he's older, he's definitely lazy. But, fuck. If anyone on this podcast says they're not lazy right now, we're in fucking quarantine, then we're all liars. So if someone would tell me right now, if I were to just go sit on my couch and eat like 4 plates of lasagna, and they would judge me for it, then I'd call them a coward, and that's just all Garfield was trying to do. So I think Garfield wins this
Great
one.
points made, Thomas. I saw your hand raised a little bit ago. You wanted to say something. Kyle, you go next.
I'm going to agree with Kier here. I was a Tigger fan the whole way through this tournament, but for the Battle of the Cats, I'm going Garfield. If you notice, Tigger had a lisp his whole career. That drove me nuts. He was kind of like a natural depressant for everyone else. Igor, Piglet, Winnie, whenever he came around, he was so energetic that everyone else was like, oh my fucking God, here he comes. Like he's going to be bouncing on his tail, he's gonna be freaking out. Like Garfield is always chill. Like you go over his house on a Sunday, you watch football, you chill. And he is who he is. So I'm going Garfield here.
Kyle?
I mean, those are great arguments. I'm sure they swayed both of you. They didn't sway me. I'm just going Tigger. It's my guy.
You know what? I'll make things interesting. I'll also go Tigger.
That's 2 backs. I'm going Garfield, boys.
Let's go.
For the record, I didn't feel strongly. I just didn't want Kyle to be on an island by himself.
I've been on an island by myself several times, and that's perfectly fine. And we've all had our own childhoods and experiences with all these characters.
So we have to stick to your guns.
So we have a 2-3 Sweet 16 matchup. I feel very strongly one way. The 3 seed Goku versus the 2 seed Arnold. Move it, football head. My pick is Arnold.
Agreed.
Yeah.
This one's like I actually never really watched Dragon Ball Z, but I can respect how impactful Goku was. And
completely.
You touched on it before, how like they have such a huge following. People fucking love those shows, and I can tip my cap to him, but it's just on a personal preference. I gotta go Arnold.
Yes.
Right,
yes.
Kyle, if we had Alex on here, he would be like nodding his head the other way, basically.
Yeah, no, he'd actually flipping out that Hey Arnold beat Goku.
All right, so it's
how their fans is, yeah.
But that's a point to Arnold. I think Arnold applied to a larger audience than Goku did, and I think that's why Arnold wins. And
I don't even know if it's a larger audience, but it's a different one, and it's not us.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like the other half.
Right.
The last 2 matchups in the Sweet 16, we have the 1 seed Mickey Mouse versus the 5 seed Arthur. Who would like to start?
Mm-hmm.
Because I kind of don't feel that strongly about it, actually.
I don't have an argument for Arthur here, to be completely honest. We haven't made an argument for Mickey Mouse anywhere, but
it's just hard.
I'm waiting to get the character to put up the argument against Mickey Mouse. I don't think Arthur carries that argument, so I'm going to go with Mickey Mouse.
Mickey's had a pretty easy road so far, and I actually didn't watch Arthur that much either when I was younger, but I like him. He's cool. The memes are funny.
But here's a quick note.
Wait,
Wait,
Andy, have you seen the one I've sent of DW where like her eyes are crossed and it's like she's like smoking weed, dude? I'm gonna have to send it after this. It's unreal. It's a DW.
There's some
I want to make this note on Mickey. The only guys giving him a competition, we have Arnold, Patrick Starr, and Ash. So just think about that because Mickey's
All right.
advanced here.
We can't do that. It's one matchup at a time. One matchup
Yeah, what are you
at a
doing?
time.
Calm down.
Settle down, man. Last matchup, we have the 7 seed Ash Ketchum versus the 3 seed Patrick Starr.
Wow, this is a barn burner.
I think I'm going to start on this. So I grew up a SpongeBob guy through and through, and Patrick was my guy. Still makes me laugh to this day. But Andy swayed me, which he does from time to time. And just the accomplishments on Ash's resume are second to none. And again, I hate the preferential treatment he gave Pikachu. I thought it was bullshit. All Pokemon should have been in their Pokeballs. Like, why does Pikachu get to be out? Fuck that. But he's Pokemon Master. I'm going Ash.
Wow.
And I love Patrick. Like, this hurts me to do this, but I'm just being real and honest with all of you because I can do that. Kyle, go.
I'm going Patrick here. I think he's the best character in SpongeBob. He's the funniest. He has the long run of SpongeBob. You liked him when you were a kid. You like him now as an adult. That's the kind of theme here where SpongeBob, I said I kind of grew out of like relating to, and Squidward I kind of grew into relating to. Patrick, nonstop, day one till right now. Always thought he was the best character on SpongeBob, strongest part of the show. And I think it's easy for me. I think it's very clearly Patrick.
I want to put Thomas on the spot when he hops back on. Andy, do you have like a strong take?
Man, I really don't. This one's
It's tough for him because he knows Ash. You're an Ash guy. You're an Ash guy.
I'll make my take. I'll make my take then. I'm gonna go with Patrick, and this is why. From just a pure TV cartoon character standpoint, Patrick was all of his significance was there. Ash got bigger, obviously, which we're including. We can't slight that. But no one loved Ash for his character in the show. Like, people were more like, everyone loved the Pokemon, like the different Pokemons that were there. Like, dude, Pokemon Snap, arguably the greatest game on N64, is unreal. Like, I will still play that game and work on my camera taking, picture taking, my abilities. But I got a little lost there, but yeah. That being said, I can't vote with Ash as a complete character. Patrick, he's a story, covered all 5 points there as a character, so I'm gonna go with Patrick.
Thomas, you're up. I'm not gonna tell you the score.
Okay, I'm gonna go Ash here.
Oh, shit!
He caught them all. He literally caught them all. He had the best Pokeball index out there. And these Pokemon aren't just like a Labradoodle coming up to you licking your hand. Like, these guys are hard to catch. And you control them.
Mill Pokemon.
He taught him how to train. He went to battle with them. And, you know, Pikachu was a great side character. And don't get me wrong here. Patrick Starr, maybe the meme king in our era right now. But Ash is a great matchup. He had the Pokemon, he had Snorlax, he had Charizard, he had a Blastoise. Like, he had the guns ablazing with his lineup was absurd. So I'm going Ash here.
It is 2-2 going to the Italian stallion himself, who is so fucking torn right now.
I am. And I think Kier made a good point. Like, I think my love for Ash, I'm rating them on like a different scale, right? Like, it's not, you're right. Like, Patrick as a character is like way funnier and makes probably a bigger impact. for me, it's Ash. Maybe it's a little bit overshadowed by the show itself, but like he's the star of the show. His accomplishments are undeniable. I'm very torn here. I know I've touted Ash all tournament, but I think I'm going to leave it up to the Chew Can.
Yes.
I think
This is
it's only right.
Before you flip this, can I make a note? The SpongeBob PlayStation 2 video game was phenomenal. That was a really fun game, if anyone had that.
The point is taken and considered.
I was playing.
Who wants to call it? Andy clearly cannot call it because he feels strongly one way or the other.
Thomas felt strong.
Kyle, no, you call it because you have.
Yeah, Kyle is strong.
Yeah. I'm going Patrick and Tails.
Okay.
And it's heads.
Let's
Damn
go!
Oh, man.
Wow.
Shit, fuck.
Folks, that is what I'm talking about.
Every coin flip today.
I think I've got my heart broken on every single.
That's what I was gonna say. Man. It feels just a lot of heart podcast.
You know what? I'm gonna. Fuck it. Let's just go from the beginning. All right. So the first region, the Elite Eight matchup, we have the 1 seed Bugs Bunny versus the 6 seed Gerald Martin Johansson. I remember his middle name. Who would like to start?
You.
Yeah.
I would.
Iconic lead us off.
I would actually not like to start because
these are two.
Both of my guys. Like I love both of them, so I would like to wait.
All right, I'll start then. I'm going to go with the 1 seed Bugs here. I think Gerald's had an incredible run, but Bugs was the Looney Tune leader. He always was the most clever. He literally had that balance of being clever, but not too like smart for his own good. I can dial back to a lot. I mean, here's the great thing about Bugs. He didn't only have one arch nemesis. I think through Looney Tunes, I think at one point, like, there was like 9 different Looney Tunes characters after him. It wasn't just, literally every character at some point had a beef with Bugs, and he still made it out. And in space, I mean, he's just an absolute.
He's MJ's number 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bugs here. I think Gerald had a great run though.
Thomas, you're up.
I'm going Bugs as well. Just the strong points. He has Lola Bunny, Smoke Show. He invented the secret stuff. Second half, they just come back and just ran the show. And he recruited Michael Jordan, the best basketball player of all time. I mean, Gerald, great hair, great handshake, woogity woogity. It was a great run. But
not Gerald.
Bugs runs.
No, Arnold and Gerald's handshake. They did like the thumb thing though.
Oy.
Yeah, not the woogity woogity. Get your
woogity
fucking
woogity
shit.
was
That's what it was. They would do woogity woogity.
No,
They
that's
did
rocket power.
Yes, woogity woogity.
Oh shit.
Tyler and
Twister and Otto.
would any of you like to end this right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Bugs.
There it is. He's moving
It
on.
has to be done.
Yeah, I won't have a secondary sidekick character in the Final Four, Elite Eight, or whatever we're on. This is what it comes down.
Should I save the Scooby Shaggy matchup for the last matchup of the Elite Eight, or should we just get into it right now?
Let's go.
Let's roll.
Yeah.
Who wants it?
I think it's I think this is gonna be a landslide. Hey, who's gonna vote for Shaggy?
Probably Thomas. He's an idiot.
There's an argument. Yeah, I'll take that. Let me go first here.
I need to be convinced, to be honest, and I want Thomas to convince me right now.
Okay, so you got the Scooby snacks. Of course, Scooby, he's a dog. Everyone loves animals. But if we're talking about actual people here, the most important person is Shaggy. Okay? And then if you just have the 4 people in the mystery van, it'd still be a great show. The dog is nice. You could throw a cat in there instead of Scooby. Throw any animal in there. Shaggy is still the main character. He's the person that everyone laughs at. Scooby has 1 line, 2 lines. He says the same thing. He just looks cute and cuddly. But Shaggy's the one saying Zoink Scoobs. He's having all the good lines, and I'm going Shaggy here.
The cat argument did not do you any favors, Kyle. Go.
I'm gonna put the pressure. Shaggy's gonna jump out to an early lead in the first half here.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm gonna say Shaggy because I mean he's definitely more of a character and a human, and Scooby's kind of more of a force of nature in the show where he just like he just exists as his own. He doesn't really change a lot. Shaggy goes up and down and portrayed excellently in the movie. So I'm gonna go Shaggy for sure.
Fuck.
I'll start hitting the counter argument. I'm gonna go Scooby. I've made this argument before. I think Velma is the most important human in the show. I think it's great that
We lost Andy.
We lost
Nice.
Andy.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
He's here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sorry, your mom.
All right, there we go. But yeah, no, I think Shaggy doesn't bring much more to the table than just being Scooby's friend. Scooby actually is more of an attribute to them solving mysteries. That's where it comes. Like, they both are loyal to each other, but I think Scooby has more value in the show itself, so I'm going to vote for Scooby.
Danielson.
Man.
Do you want me to say Scooby and go to the coin toss?
No, I don't think so. I think
Okay.
I want to go Scooby. I think Kyle and Thomas made pretty good arguments for Shaggy. And this is a very close. I mean, I think Scooby wins this at the buzzer, but it's his show. I mean, he's the man. He has an advantage. I know he's the dog, so it's like maybe he doesn't have the personality because he can't talk, but like I like dogs more than I like humans, to be honest. So
It's fair.
I'm going Scooby.
So Connor, do you have conviction, or are you leaving it up to the chaw?
I think this matchup is only fair to leave it up to the chaw. I really do. Like, if I had to pick gun to head, I'd pick Scooby, but I think there's strong arguments on both sides, so leave it up to the chaw. And I want Thomas to call it in the air.
So Thomas is calling for Shaggy.
Yes, he is.
Can you see the ground?
Yep.
Clearly.
3, 2, 1.
Heads.
It is heads!
Wow.
I haven't won one yet. This is the saddest.
Shaggy!
Defeated.
Let's go, baby.
Big win. I'm all right with it. I mean,
Wow.
Scooby, but
Wow.
I love Shaggy. Oh my god.
God, that was fucking awesome.
Feels good.
I don't love either of these matchups as much as I like the other two matchups. So, let's just do the 2-5 matchup. The 2 seed, Hey Arnold, Move It Football Head, doesn't have a last name or parents, haha. Or the 5 seed, Garfield. Who would like to start?
or parents.
This is the cakewalk you were alluding to, Connor. Or
It
no?
was. Yeah,
Yeah,
it was.
I mean, I don't have a counter argument for I've been a huge Garfield supporter. I have no counter argument towards Arnold here.
I feel the
think
same way.
I think Arnold's
I
just getting...
hate Garfield. I hate that he's been here this long. I'm done.
They lose by 100. And they
Yeah, like that. Like Arnold, once SpongeBob got taken out, Arnold just had just a fucking cakewalk.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this should be a cakewalk for the 1 seed, which is bullshit. Because fuck him. It's the 1 seed Mickey versus the 7 seed Ash.
Wow.
Who's the first guy?
Mickey Mouse.
Man,
Thomas, your hand's raised.
Thomas.
Okay. If Mickey was a
Idiot.
Pokemon, Ash wouldn't even bother.
Wow.
Yes! That's my pick. Yes.
Look at Mickey and say, I have Pikachu. He's a rat. He can strike thunder. What can you do, Mickey? Mickey can dance, and he has string bean legs. He can't squat shit, and that's all he has. I mean, What the fact that Disney is what it is now, based off of Mickey, a mouse, it blows my mind. Like Walt Disney was a genius for this shit because Mickey Mouse is a fucking mouse. Ash.
Agreed, Thomas. I mean, Kyle, you're up.
I mean, if we're gonna use the TV show argument against Ash, what the fuck does that say about Mickey?
Right,
Because
I'm
the
with Ash.
Pokemon show is clearly better than anything Mickey.
Good.
And the brands are honestly I mean, obviously Disney's worth way more and way bigger, but the Mickey brand afterwards is like kind of on par with Pokemon, and Ash just blows him away on the TV show side of things, so I'm definitely going Ash here.
I'm with you, Kyle. These aren't just ashes. This is a full ember burning right now.
Oh, both.
Ew. I
All
think
right.
Mickey's like Disney is one of the biggest company brands, whatever, in the world. But it's like everything that I enjoy about Disney, not a lot of it involves Mickey. You know?
Right.
I mean, they've had spin-offs of like Mickey Mouse throughout our childhood, but they would last like a year and then they would just go away and then make a new one. And,
House of Mouse.
The best Mickey thing Disney World related is like Fantasia and like that light show, and it's a B minus.
Dude, that just scared the shit out of me. That was wild. Fantasia was
Fantasia's
scary,
trippy.
My favorite Mickey performance is in Mickey and the Beanstalk, where him, Donald, and Goofy go up as like Jack and the Beanstalk. Love that shit. Final four set, fellas. We have the 1 seed Bugs Bunny, the only 1 seed to get to the Final Four, so tip the cap there. Versus the 3 seed Shaggy.
Wait, this is the Final Four right now?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
I think Shaggy's run is over. I'm going with that silly Wabbit.
No,
I have to agree with you, Connor. I do. I'm with Bugs here.
I think I am too.
And that's that matchup. Now,
the Final Four is almost always disappointing just because you slug it out so hard in the first fucking round.
I know. And then it's a unanimous decision.
and we have a 2-7 matchup now.
Wow.
Patrick's
This one's gonna be hard.
Does Cinderella, the 7 seed, the Pokemon Master Ash, keep fucking dancing against that godforsaken football head, the 2 seed Hey Arnold?
Oh man. This should be the championship.
You have
This is
something
what
to say,
the people
Thomas.
wanted.
You have something to say, Thomas.
Yeah, so I'm going Arnold here, and here's why. The flannel look was absolutely on fire, mid-90s. He never let it down either. He doubled down on it every show. His little hat was always there. You could always depend on it.
This
It always
little hat.
stayed on his head, his football head. And he made that ice rink the one show. They needed an ice rink. He hit the fire hydrant, and they froze it over. It was so cool. They had an ice rink. They were skating and playing hockey. I mean, it's hard not to go against. It's hard to go against Arnold. He's just the neighborhood kid. He's the man.
Anyone who wants it? Who wants it? Andy, I saw a hand raise. Or is that just kind of like I don't know?
That's
hand
just
raise?
that's a what the fuck am I gonna do?
I'm gonna piggyback off Thomas. I'm gonna go with Arnold here. I think Arnold was just the best friend in any childhood show that we could watch. He not only did he love his friends, his grandpa was his best friend. He did everything for him, even as cranky as his grandpa was. He lived in this house or apartment complex, right? That was complete dog shit. He was not privileged at all. And he just made the most of what was given to him. I just think he epitomized what it was for a kid to grow up in kind of a tough scenario and just grow and make all these great friends and have these hilarious moments. So I think, and he got bullied a lot too. Think about that. He turned all of his bullies into friends. I mean, Arnold is. It's hard to vote against him. I'm going to go with Arnold here.
Seems like that's where you're leaning, Andy.
Yeah, I agree.
Arnold, it is.
I love Ash. I love Pokemon
The
as much as the
TV
next
show
person.
Hey Arnold is better than Pokemon. It just
Yeah.
is.
Arnold just always does the right thing. Like
He does. And the championship is set. The 1 seed versus the 2 seed. We have the 1 seed, Bugs, Mother effing Bunny, the icon himself, versus the 2 seed, Hey Arnold, last name omitted. My pick is Bugs.
Explain yourself.
Yeah,
I mean,
Connor, you're the biggest Bug supporter. You haven't provided any evidence.
there's no
Yeah.
You said you're a big Looney Tunes guy. Give us some context.
I mean, the one Bugs Bunny thing I really remember, other than Space Jam from the episodes, which is Elmer Fudd. I don't think this is Elmer Fudd included, but I always remember this watching this at Max's house when we were like 8 or 9 years old, and he like pretended he was dead. And he had like his hands like crossed on his like chest as he was laying down. And it may have been Elmer Fudd, but like they pulled his hands away, and he was like, ah! And he had a bra on, and me and Max just laughed so fucking hard. And it was so goddamn funny. And I mean, yeah, Space Jam definitely plays a point into it. As Thomas said, I believe it was Thomas that made the points of how he recruited MJ. He was definitely MJ's number 2 on the team, not fucking Bill Murray. Bill Murray can't play basketball for shit. Like, get out of here with that nonsense. I'm really just an iconic character. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Hey Arnold. I feel like he's probably going to win. If that's the case, I'm fine with that. And also because I drafted Bugs Bunny in my TV draft a few episodes ago, and I got a lot of heat for it, and it really pissed me off. And I feel very, very justified now that he's in the championship game. So fuck everyone that hated on me for that.
Connor, that's well done. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, good.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's just
The 1-0 Bugs.
Yeah, so I'm voting Hey Arnold. I mean, I am. It's pretty much just the same argument that I've been making the whole time. This is about what impacted me more in my childhood. And Bugs Bunny was there, but he was there for a lot of my time before I could even form memories. I remember being on after school every day. That was the show. I'm surprised, like, after everything shook out, I knew there was going to be one show that was just like my whole life was always there for me. It ended up being Hey Arnold, and I'm fine with that. But it's Arnold for me.
I think I'm gonna go with Kyle and go.
Ah!
And it's, I think it's the same kind of points. Like, I don't get me wrong, I watched a lot of Looney Tunes. I love Bugs, but it was like, well, we didn't grow up the same as Arnold. But we could still relate to him because he was a kid, like around the same age as us, getting into the same shenanigans and going out and playing sports in the neighborhood, and there's just something about it that if I watch the episode of Hey Arnold, I just get like such a warm, fuzzy, great nostalgic feeling.
Probably gonna watch Hey Arnold after this pod.
Yeah, and like I said, I think we talked about Bugs kind of being like, kind of having an ego, and that's fine. He's a little arrogant, but Arnold's just like a level-headed. He has great values. He always does the right thing. He's unselfish. He cares about his friends and his family. And I'm gonna cast my vote for Arnold.
We haven't talked about Arnold's room, by the way. Coolest fucking room in the world.
I was going to go back to that at some point. One of the best rooms of all time.
Dude, one of the best.
The glass skylight throughout the whole thing was so cool.
Just get up to the roof.
Yes, absolutely. He had so much cool shit in his room too. But the one point that Andy talking through like helped me articulate like what I was thinking, and it was like Bugs Bunny throughout my whole life was just pure entertainment. That's all it was. Hey Arnold kind of helped me grow and understand things better, and that is why I think he was way more impactful than Bugs Bunny for sure. So,
are we ending this right now with Arnold?
I'm not, because I'm gonna make Thomas make a decision here. I'm gonna go with Bugs. So
yes,
I watch a lot of Looney Tunes. I don't know why, but I watched a lot of Looney Tunes growing up. I think Bugs' ability to work with as many characters as possible. So I made this point earlier. I couldn't think of the characters, but I started brainstorming like Marvin the Martian, Elmer Fudd, Yosemite Sam, all of them. He was in episodes with all of them. Then if you guys remember at the Monroeville Mall, do you guys remember the one store they had with all the characters like outside of the store? It was like legitimately just like it was like a Looney Tunes store.
Yeah. It was
Do
like
you
a
remember
Warner
that?
Brothers. Wasn't it Warner
Yes,
Brothers?
the Warner Brothers
Warner
store.
Brothers store.
And
I
they had
remember
like,
that.
yes, they had
That's
the
right,
character.
dude. That
Yeah,
store was awesome.
like they put it in there, and Bugs was literally the first one you saw, and then you'd go in like Marvin the Martian. You could like walk inside like that that hood that he had, and like press his buttons and shit.
That's awesome.
You remember that?
Yeah.
But
I forgot about that, but I do remember that.
and dude, I just think Bugs was like so. Arnold was obviously a great character from a like. I don't know. I just think Bugs like got me more excited about like watching shows than Arnold did. Like it was fun following Arnold in his journey, but Bugs like got me like super like I think I was more excited to tune back into another episode of Looney Tunes than I was to watch the next episode of Hey Arnold. And Bugs Bunny was the reason for that. So I'm gonna go Bugs.
Thomas, do you have a pick or do you have a coin toss?
Growing up, mid-90s, Nickelodeon.
Damn.
Arnold was the man. He was cool under pressure. He didn't grow up lavishly, but he was always respectful. He was chilling on the stoop whenever the kid was afraid to leave the stoop. He didn't falter. He was nice to that kid. He was nice to everybody. But at the same time,
kid's afraid to leave the stoop.
He was. And he was confident in himself. He had the sickest room in the city. But Bugs Bunny was just iconic. Iconic. Anytime he was in trouble, between being tied up with dynamite or being caught in a rabbit hole with Elmer Fudd, he always had a joke. He always had something to keep you at ease, even though he was about to die. Bugs was the GOAT. The Secret Stuff, Lola Bunny, beating the Monstars. This guy, between thick and thin, showed up every day to make you laugh, cry, whatever else there was. Bugs Bunny, 1 seed, through and through. The guy is the rabbit GOAT. Bugs is my vote.
Wow.
That was such a beautiful speech.
Yeah,
about it.
Yes. Yes. Oh, that feels good.
Bugs has done it.
2 points about Hey Arnold real quick that someone could have made in his favor. He was the quarterback when they came back against 6th graders in the Mud Bowl, and he threw the touchdown to Gerald. Big point in his favor. Which one of his neighbors between these two did you like more, Oscar Kokoschka or Mr. Hwin?
Mr. Quinn.
Dude, Mr. Quinn, dude, the one episode in Hey Arnold, I never will forget. He goes, play ball, play ball, play ball. He's just running around there like in that courtyard, and for literally 2 minutes straight, they're just rolling the credits, and he's just sprinting in a circle. Play ball, play ball.
Is that when they build a baseball field or whatever?
Yeah. That and just like that random shitty ass lot.
Yeah.
That show was ahead of its time. It had every race imaginable, and everyone got along. Like that's the show we needed.
Yeah.
I feel so fucking good now about my Bugs pick, but fellas, this was a good bracket, a strong bracket. 5 works.
This was
5 works going forward. It works. But I've been holding a pee in for about an hour, so I'm just gonna end this now. We had fun, guys.
We
good
did.
job, Kier.
This is almost 3 hours.
Oh, shit.
Thanks to everybody for coming on. We'll be back next Saturday with a bracket. Thanks to Andy, Will, Thomas. You guys did a great job. Bugs is the winner, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Yep.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Always a pleasure.